Okie dokie, I believe we are all the way live. Hello and welcome to my graveyard. I am your host of the evening, the Cemetery Man from Salem, Mass. Always taking names and kicking candy ass live and in living color here with you tonight, only on Grande's Graveyard. And yes, my friends, tonight we count it down. Oh yes, tonight it is the top 10 superhero movie special, and I'm very excited to share my top 10 with all of you guys because I don't know, man. I have always been a big superhero movie fan, and this is a show I've been wanting to do for quite some time. And I was like, when would be the best time to spring this on people? And I know that there's the new Supergirl movie out tonight, tomorrow. I guess some people even saw it as early as yesterday. And I know that the new Spider-Man movie's coming out, Brand New Day or whatever the heck that comes out next month. So I don't know, the superhero kind of movies are buzzing right now. And I figured, you know what? It's the summertime. It's a good week to kind of shake things up and get away from the wonderful world of horror as we know and love it. And I figured we kind of dive in tonight, shake things up a little bit and talk about my top 10 favorite all-time superhero movies. Now, this list, it's weird. It was hard and it wasn't hard to make at the same time. This was so weird. Like, I sat down and I started writing movies and I came up with 10 pretty quickly. And I was like, you know what? I can't really think of any more. So let it rest for a couple days. I was almost set on it. I took one last look at it and I was like, you know what? There's one more movie that has to make this list. So there was one movie that was initially there that I bumped off. And now we have the definitive top 10 list as far as right now goes, as far as the recording of this of 6/25/2026. We've got the list, and we're going to share it with you guys here tonight. So I'm very excited to have you all in the house. But of course, we have people here in the comments, and we're going to say hi to them before we kick off the top 10 list. We got Pat, have Cheetah will view here in spirit. Have a great show. I'll catch the replay. Thank you so much, Pat. Hope all is well with you, buddy. We have Miss C, Chow, Grande, and Graveyardian friends. Hi, Cheetah. People saying hi to one another. The Cemetery Man is the hero we all deserve. Iron Sabbath, Arthur's in the house. Welcome, Arthur. Hope all's well with you, buddy. People saying hi. Top 3 prediction: Catwoman, Elektra, Batman, and Robin. Well, that's quite a prediction right there. We got Halle Berry. What? We got Jennifer Gardner. What? We got Alicia Silverstone. What? We got Uma Thurman. What? There's a lot of sexy women in there, but unfortunately, none of those fine women have made the fine top 10 superhero list of all time. Hey, how you doing, buddy? By the way, just got unsubbed by a lot of people, but I'm seeing Supergirl. Well, hey, that's a perfect fitting thing for this stream here tonight. You're seeing Supergirl, so let's hope it's better than the Helen Slater Supergirl. My fingers are crossed for you, although I thought that trailer looked like dog shit, and I'm not a big fan of Craig Gillespie, so I don't know about the new Supergirl. All I know is the original Supergirl was very hot, and so was the Supergirl on the show, Melissa Benoist, something like that, something like that. Really good-looking woman, but yeah, I don't know. The new Supergirl movie, it looks like there's a little bit left to be desired, but I don't know. I won't judge a book by its cover until I see it. Where the hell is your superhero themed shirt, John? I expected a full super. Did you expect me to dress up as the Hulk or Thor? I could have done Thor. I totally could have done Thor. I have the helmet and the hair and the hammer. I could have done it, but then it would have been anticlimactic because there's no Thor movie on the list. Brief, I guess, sort of spoiler. Granted, Thor does appear in one of the movies that I'm talking about, but it's not a Thor film. It's not Thor Ragnarok or Thor Love and Thunder or whatever Thor fucking movie you want to pick. Thor does make an appearance in one of the movies on the list, though. So if you're a Thor fan, stay tuned. We got Tom in the house. Hi, all. Welcome, Tom. Hope all's well with you, buddy. Tom just actually did a really cool video on, I guess he's making miniatures of one of them I wasn't able to guess, but then when he gave me the hint, I got it. But one of them's from the Jordy Verrill segment of Creep Show, and that video you could watch on his channel. It's really cool. He just did this whole kind of, I guess, miniature reimagining of the Jordy Verrill segment in Creep Show. It is incredible. So if you guys want to check that out on Tom's channel, I highly recommend, because that was a really, really cool little video. Ciao, Super Grande. Excited for this episode. Fun countdown ahead. Hi to everyone in the chat. Yes, man, I was excited when you hit me up before the show. You were like, are you doing like MCU DC movies? I was like, buddy, we got 8 of those in total. We got 5 Marvel, 3 DC, and 2 indies that you're going to find out here tonight, and I'm very excited to share them with you. The one with the unshaven Superman I liked, TFH Studio. That's the first time name on Grande's Graveyard. Welcome. The one with the unshaven Superman. There is a Superman movie on the list, but which one? Which one will it be? I don't know if you guys saw the thumbnail. That might give it away, but maybe not. Happy Thursday. Thor gets my vote. Not biased at all for Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, Chris Hemsworth is awesome. I don't know if you've ever seen it, there's a great movie of Chris Hemsworth called Bad Times, the El Royale, and he plays a Charles Manson-esque heel in it. He's so good, man. I'm a big fan of Chris Hemsworth and his work as an actor, and he's great as the obviously the character of Thor. But yeah, no, I highly recommend that one if you're a fan of Hemsworth alone, because unfortunately he's picked some projects that aren't the greatest. The Men in Black International or the Ghostbusters reboot. I mean, he's been in some turds, let's be perfectly honest. But honestly, sometimes Chris Hemsworth does get it right with the whole trying out new movies and stuff like that. We got Ryan Hanley in the house. What's up, Graveyard? Grande told me he's really excited for Supergirl. Yes, I am on pins and needles for Supergirl. In fact, I did debate canceling the show tonight just to go see Supergirl and bring my caveman attire. No, I'm just kidding. I will say, I am as ruthless as it gets and as honest as it gets, and I do feel bad for that, like all that's going on. Like, that lady doesn't deserve that. That kind of sucks that's going on, but it is kind of funny at the same time. So the cat is out of the bag and unfortunately doesn't really go back in the box. We got Slasher Fred in the house. Welcome, Slasher Fred. Hope all is well with you. Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. Oh, you got me. It's Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. You predicted it easily enough. Thanks, John. Very nice of you to mention the diorama. I'm sorry. I said presentation or something, but yes, diorama was the word I was looking for. I'm sorry. Long day, long week. He was great in Rush. Absolutely love Rush as well. That's a great call. Yeah, no, he's one of those guys that if I was him, I'd fire my agent. Like, he's such a better talent than some of the roles and movies he's in. I just never got it. Christopher Reeves was awesome as Superman, the best Superman. To me, the only Superman. Like don't get me wrong, I don't mind Brandon Routh, who's basically just playing Christopher Reeves again. That's honestly what he did. And then you look at guys like David Corenswet or other pretty boy, whatever the fuck his name is. I always forget him too. He's that guy to me is as vanilla as it gets. The guy who plays him in Man of Steel and Henry Cavill. That's vanilla. That's a vanilla gorilla right there. I haven't seen that movie. He knows his role. Always pops that shirt off. Love him. A perfect getaway, and Cabin in the Woods. Yes, hell yeah. Okay. Triple H knows what's up with Hemsworth Cinema. Just want Spider-Man represented. Oh, my friend, do not you worry. There's not one but two Spider-Man movies on the list. So very excited to have you all in the house. I don't have anything to hold up. Cheers to a safe, happy, healthy weekend. What about Dean Cain? I'm sorry, I forgot about Dean Cain. Listen, I can't always name all the actors, but yeah, I don't know. Dean Cain represent. Dean Cain. The less said about Dean Cain, probably the better. Let's be perfectly honest. But let's kick things off. Let's start this show off hot with number 10. Yes, number 10, which came out in the year of 2018. I did see this in the cinema, and this was a spectacle. I remember how big of a deal this movie was when it came out and the hype around it. I was in the middle of college. I remember all the people going crazy about this movie. Like, oh my God, we got to go see this movie. This is going to be a big, big deal in the theater. And I'll never forget going with a bunch of friends, big group. And I had been out of the scene for quite some time because there's one thing about me. I grew up a big superhero movie fan and superhero comics, video games, the whole 9 yards. I was a big, big, big superhero fan. My favorite of all time show would be the Glenn Murakami Teen Titans from 03 to 06. That's like my favorite cartoon / superhero show of all time. I love it. And unfortunately, they're not going to be represented tonight. The Teen Titans Trouble in Tokyo didn't make the list. To be fair, I love that movie, but it's not amongst these 10. But that was my favorite, and I love that stuff. Big Spider-Man guy, big Batman guy. Those were really my biggest influences were the Teen Titans, Batman, and Spider-Man. Those were my biggies. But I had been out of the scene for a while. You know me, I'm more horror guy than superhero / action guy. But the entire kind of hype behind this movie and the night I had in the cinema to go see it was an event. It felt like a special attraction. And I won't leave you any suspense any longer. This is from the year 2018. This is Avengers Infinity War. Yes, Avengers Infinity War. Brief plot synopsis. As the Avengers and their allies have continued to protect the world from threats too large for anyone or any hero to handle, a new danger has emerged from the cosmic shadows. Thanos, a despot of intergalactic infamy. His goal is to collect all 6 Infinity Stones, artifacts of unimaginable power, and use them to inflict his twisted will on all of reality. Everything the Avengers have fought for has led up to this moment. The fate of the Earth and existence has never been more uncertain. Yes, Avengers Infinity, I mean, holy shit, man. This is, when I think of epic movies, when I think of movies that truly did live up to the hype when you go see them in a movie theater, you could really stop here at Avengers Infinity War. This was a big deal, big night, big movie feel in the cinema. And I walked out and I was like, holy shit, I have never been more happy to kind of been proven wrong. Because I won't lie, again, I was skeptical of the genre. I'd kind of moved away from this thing that I loved. And when I went back in the theater that night, I remembered when it ended, I remembered why I ever loved it to begin with. And that to me makes this a really special movie, and a movie that had to make this top 10 list, even if it's at only number 10. Only number 10. And that's, obviously there's a lot of good stuff on this list in my opinion. So yeah, it's definitely amongst one of the best ever made. And some people will tell you maybe it is the best ever made. So, you can have that caveat to it. But to me, what I really like too is, obviously you had your Avengers movies before this, your Avengers, and then the Avengers Age of Ultron. And those movies are fine. They don't really play as well today to me as they did then. At least that's just my opinion. But to me, a lot of the hype was kind of going into this particular movie. And to me, there's a few reasons why this one stands out so well, but one of the ultimate reasons is Thanos, is the titular, infamous villain Thanos, of course, played by Josh Brolin, who to me is an absolute legend. I've always been a really, really big fan of him and his work. And there's something about him and what he was able to bring to a CG character, right? I mean, I'm a big proponent of everyone should always be physically there. You should physically be on screen. However, with this particular movie, with this particular villain, Josh Brolin, they use the motion capture and CG to make this big brooding guy. But there's so much more to Thanos as opposed to this overpowered big brute. There's intelligence, there's humanity, there's a reason to his rhyme. And I think that Josh Brolin's performance is truly great. I think it's just such a great performance from him. And I just think that what he brought to this role and what he brings to this movie is a lot of legitimacy. And I think that he's really one of the biggest things I like about it. And now, of course, you have your usual characters. You have Chris Evans as Captain America, who he's tremendous in that role. Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, Iron Man. He's great in the role as well. You have your usual cast of characters. And what this entire movie is basically an Easter egg hunt for Thanos. Thanos' goal is to collect these 6 Infinity Stones, and he wants to wipe out half humanity with a snap of the fingers. And that's his whole goal and kind of target in this movie, and the Avengers must stop him from doing so. And then we get the movie that ensues. We get a ton of good action sequences. We got a ton of good character work. And I don't know, to me, this is one of those movies that it's just a little bit of everything. It's an epic movie. It covers a lot of different bases. And to me, it does the little things oh so right. And what do I mean by that? There's perfect example, and I know people don't like this particular scene, especially fans of the Marvel movies and stuff like that. And I've gotten in some hot water when I mentioned how much I appreciate the scene. But the character of Thanos, his daughter is Gamora, played by Zoe Saldana, who's in basically, if it's a big movie, she's going to be in it some way, shape, or form. Zoe Saldana, one of the highest grossing actresses of all time, which is a really cool accolade for her. Really like the lady. And anyway, she plays his daughter. She plays Gamora, his daughter, and there's a scene where he has to give up something that he truly loves in order to get one of the stones, and he begrudgingly, sad, he pushes her off this cliff and she falls to her death. Now, we all know and love Gamora from the Guardians of the Galaxy movie and her relationship with Peter Quill, Captain Star-Lord, if you will, and he's devastated by hearing of the loss of her, and he's depressed and he's sad and he's emotional and he's crying. And there's the scene where the Avengers are trying to get the glove off of Thanos. Thanos is struggling and they're trying to pull the glove off of Thanos, and they've got it. It's almost by a fingertip from being put off. Yet Star-Lord, in the moment of seeing Thanos, the man that's killed the woman that he's loved, loses his composure and lets a emotional human side out, and he starts to punch Thanos over and over again, and aggression, and Thanos ends up recovering due to this distraction, gets the glove back, and ultimately goes on to wipe out half of humanity. That's another big twist of this movie, is that the villain wins, and we'll get there. But to me, that particular moment, whereas I know a lot of people, oh, Star-Lord's so stupid. Why would Star-Lord do that? Star-Lord fucked them. He cost them everything. And I hear those criticisms. I hear those gripes. But to me, that's great storytelling 101. Here's a guy that let his emotions get the better of him and literally cost 50% of the humanity to die off, all over his undying, undoubtful love for Gamora. I love that. That's little moments like that that to me really make Infinity War tremendous. You have the great character arc of Thor. We were talking about Thor before, how he's down after having his ass kicked by Thanos, right? The god of thunder, and a good brother. Just everything about Thor. It's almighty, it's unstoppable, it's literal electric, it's literal thunder and lightning, right? Here's the god of thunder, this guy that has never really tasted defeat, has never really seen what it's been to be on the losing side of things, and he is in this kind of bummed state with Groot and Rocket, and he's trying to kind of mentally psych himself back into things. And there's a lot of dialogue between him and him trying to kind of get his groove back until it all builds up to the ultimate final battle where he has this grand entrance, this lightning entrance where he, Groot, and Rocket land and give me Thanos. He fucking runs. I don't know why. That sounded like Seth Rogen. Like Seth Rogen played Thor. This, God damn it. But anyway, just that moment of epicness, like, oh my God, like, let's fucking go. It's so exciting. Like, I remember in the theater being like, let's go. Like, no, like, he's ready to run through a literal brick wall in order to fight and stop Thanos. Like, that to me is great character work. And there's a ton of it. Literally, I could stop for almost every character in this movie. We'd probably be here all night until we get to number 9 tomorrow when the sun's rising and stuff. But that's a great point right here and there. The sun rising, right? There's the great line where Thanos is asked, what will you do if you get your way? What will you do if you get the 6 Infinity Stones? What will you do if you are able to complete your goal and wipe out half of humanity? What happens then? And Thanos has the best answer of all. I'll probably just sit down, look at the sunrise, and I'll rest. And that's the last shot of the movie is Thanos wins. Thanos has snapped half of existence away. And Mr. Stark, it's getting cold. Pussy Tom Holland. I hate Tom Holland. I'm so sorry. Don't get your hopes up. Tom Holland's ass didn't make this fucking list in any of his dumbass movies. But I digress. Mr. Stark, it's cold. Oh, God. He fucking turns into pussy dust. A bunch of people start disappearing. And what's the last thing we see is Thanos just sitting down watching the sun as the movie kind of rolls through. It's like, I didn't expect the villain to win. Generally, it's always, our heroes win, our heroes find a way, our heroes do it. And they eventually do in the inevitable end game, which I don't like half as much as I like this movie. To me, it all should have ended here. Like, this was absolutely the ending. It should have been it. And I know money talks, and I know we don't live in a world where the villain is going to win and they're going to not make Avengers movies anymore because money talks, and that's all that matters. At the end of the day, it is a business, whether I like that or not, or whether you like that or not. But I think what this movie did is it really captures on every single level, right? It's got great character moments. It's got a great villain that you can really kind of understand where they're coming from. As psychopathic as he seems, there's an amount of intelligence that makes you sort of respect him. I don't know. There's something about Brolin as Thanos that's just tremendous. I think it's a great performance. Despite being covered in CG, he really does make you feel something for that character. And I think he's one of the best villains ever put to screen. And Avengers Infinity War, it's a lock. It has to make this list. Like, to me, as far as the Avengers movies or the big MCU movies, this is the one to me. This is the one that, like, I think you're chasing this one till the end of time, right? You can do your Avengers Doomsday. You could put Robert Downey Jr. back because his career is faltered and he's Dr. Doolittle, and that, who the hell remembers? I don't think Dr. Doolittle was remembered by fucking Robert Downey Jr.'s family. I think his own family didn't even go to the fucking premiere to see that. So, I mean, it is what it is, but I think that you're forever chasing this one. You're forever chasing Thanos and this particular movie. I think this is a really good one. I really like Avengers Infinity War, and I want to hear what you all have to say in the comments here. Let's see where we were. I think we were here. Kevin Conroy, best Batman the animated series, goated. Yeah, I love Batman the animated series. Triple H, would you rather Roman Reigns or Chris Hemsworth? Oh boy, now that's the real question of the night right there. I don't know if this will be on your list, but I picked RoboCop from 1987. No RoboCop. That's, I could see it being called a superhero movie, but I would say just like action sci-fi movie for me. When it comes to the comics, I'm a DC guy, but when it comes to the movies, Marvel is king. Well, yeah, and that there's a reason half the movies tonight are Marvel movies, so go figure. My husband showed me Infinity War when it dropped on Netflix. I had only seen maybe 3 Marvel movies leading up to that point. and I was so confused. I didn't have the emotional. Yeah, no, I can see that. If you're not familiar with the characters, because listen, there was a lot of building to this. There was, I mean, I will never forget going to see Captain America, the First Avenger in the theater, and the whole, this is the start of the MCU. And then there was Thor, and then there was oh my God, the order of them, forget it. I don't even know. That would be a quiz I'd fail miserably. But Avengers was 2012, and then it kind of just took off. They started more gradually integrating all these people together and stuff like that. And like, this was to me the biggie. Like Age of Ultron, fine film. This though, like, holy shit, this is, oh my God, like, this is a movie that's, it really does feel spectacular. Avengers movies are strong. Even the weakest Age of Ultron is a solid movie. They all have great character development. Yes, and I think that that's the most important thing. When you're making movies about teams, you're going to have to find a way to make them all matter. And that's the toughest part. Generally, it's, oh, let's make sure we got something for Cap. Let's make sure we got something for Iron Man. Everybody else is kind of just along for the ride. That's a bad trap that you can fall into. And thankfully, they don't really do that in any of those movies that I've seen, at least. It's very rare. I did not like Ultron. I thought Ultron himself sucked. Thanos is a legit threat. Yeah, I rewatched Ultron in the theater. I really liked. And then I saw Ultron years later and it didn't hit the same, but I don't mind the movie. I don't think it's a bad movie. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Grande. Yes, I'm here, my friend. I'm here. After dancing it up last night, pretending to be Star-Lord. Thanos was good. Yeah, Thanos was good. I'm with that. When I started at the beginning of the timeline, Infinity War made more sense, and I was able to see Endgame in theaters the next year. Yes, and it's funny. I saw that in the theater as well. I saw Endgame in the theater, and I was looking for the same feeling that I felt when I walked out of Infinity War, and I just didn't feel it. I was like, this was just convoluted fan fiction to me. Oh, I know how we'll beat Thanos. Time travel. I was like, buddy, goddamn, like, you had something so good. And to me, just throwing the whole business side of it out of the window, which I know is impossible to do, especially with a franchise like this and moneymakers like this. However, just logistically, you lost. You lost. That's the beauty of it. The beauty of it is you fucking lost. I went back in time, I'll beat you. Like, what? And then the whole, I don't even know who you are. Like that. Like, I know people like the Endgame movie. That's fine. I don't. Like, to me, that movie's an absolute fucking failure on all performance. Like, it just doesn't. It just feels like, oh, it's round 2, and let's stretch it to 3 hours. Oh, remember Thor? Now he's fat because, like, to me, you threw out all the good character work that you did with Thor. Like that, yeah, he was down. I lost. I got beat. And then in this, it's in Endgame, it's, oh, I'm angry now, and now I let myself go, and I'm gonna cry. And like, dude, get the fuck out of here. Like, no, like, I hated what they did to Thor. I don't know. I'm not an Endgame fan whatsoever. Maybe I need a round 2, but I don't know. If you have 3 hours to spare in the day, by all means. Josh Brolin was also great as Cable. Josh Brolin is a great actor. Like, Josh Brolin, like, when I heard he was the villain, I was like, Josh Brolin, really? Like, that? It threw me. I was like, that doesn't sound like it would work to me. And then when I saw the movie, this big CG, I was like, my God, like, nothing about this should work. But it's tremendous. Like, it's really, really well done. What is up, my Graveyard family? I'm ready to watch Grande save the world. The Wakanda Forever in this movie is legendary. Oh, man. And, yeah, me and Arthur were talking about the sad passing of Chadwick. But, like, Chadwick, man, that's one of the saddest celebrity deaths ever because, like, nobody knew. At least nobody. It wasn't public news that he was so sick. I remember him more so from the Jackie Robinson movie 42. I thought he was great in that film. I have nothing but respect for that guy. That guy was a legend, and may he rest in peace. It's horrible that he's no longer with us. All the Avengers movies are incredible. After Endgame, Marvel has gone down to the absolute shitter. Yeah, that's the thing. Once you reach the end game, right, there's really nowhere else to go. And it's evident that you're just milking and stalling until the next biggie, right? Sometimes the only way to go from the top of the mountain is down. And that's kind of what it felt like. To me, this is the peak. Infinity War is the peak. I don't see a reason to watch anything past MCU wise for this. To me, it ended with him sitting on that stump and I beat you. Like, and you have to nod your hat because the only chance they had was blown because of what he did to Gamora and Star-Lord's reaction. Like, I don't know, that to me, that's great storytelling. Like, it was because of that one action, it cost them it cost them the world. Like that to me is great writing. That's the wrestling fan in me that likes seeing something like that. It's a little something that meant everything. What's up, Graveyard fam? Grande looking hot as per usual. I try, I try. All those Disney Plus spinoffs are garbage. Moon Knight, trash. All of them, terrible. Deadpool, Wolverine was good, but Doomsday needs to restore my faith in the Marvel. I'm sure it will. Like, I do not give a shit unless somehow they say Haley Steinfeld gets naked in the movie. That's the only way I'll go see Avengers and Doomsday or whatever the fuck. I do not give a shit. Like, I'm so done. Ever since Endgame, I was done. That was the end of me fucking giving a shit. How are you, buddy? By the way, still up to 2023 in the memoirs. All right. Who hasn't let their emotions get the best of them one time or another? Star-Lord is human. I would probably have kicked him in the balls if it was me. Well, thank you for sharing, Triple H, where you would aim for. No, but let's be honest. Triple H hit the spine buster in the pedigree or the Harley race high knee on this son of a bitch. But no, that I agree with you completely. And I had this argument with fans that love, and let's be honest, there are some people that this is all cinema is to them. Like, this is the only time they're going to the cinema is to see a DC or a Marvel film or a superhero related project. Like, that's the cinematic universe to somebody like me. That's their cinematic everything. And like, I have nothing but, if that's what people like and that's what people enjoy, all power to them. And they have a tremendous amount of it to weed through. So that's cool for them. But I argued to that point with them and they were like, oh, well, now it's just stupid. I'm like, yes, that's the point. Like, he made a bad decision. He made a human mistake and it cost them the world. And like, they just couldn't. They were like, but he's an idiot. I'm like, I understand. Like, you're not getting the whole psychology behind why that happens. And it even got to the point where I know people attacked Chris Pratt and verbally on how could you do that? Your character's such a fucking idiot. And he's like, buddy, it's a movie. Like, I am wholeheartedly with Chris Pratt on that. Like, I just think people are crazy. I wish Thanos would have just slammed down his dog and had half the population. Wow, that would have been a different movie. That would have been Avengers Infinity porn right there. Seth Rogen, the god of good, all Hollywood buffet. Shout out to Sal Saperstein. Yes, shout out to Sal Saperstein, baby. All the way table 168. Not to put, but come on, Tom Holland is the worst. And Spider-Man Brand New Day. Let's have Scorpion, the best Spider-Man villain ever, and have him squashed in one scene. Oh, I'm sad. I miss Zendaya. I miss Fat Ned. Ned is dead. Fuck you. That movie looks fucking terrible. It looks bland. It looks colorless. It looks soulless. It looks so fucking overcast. Like, it just, but he's sad, Grande. He's sad. No, fuck you, first of all. Second of all, the problem with this is the last Spider-Man movie, right, where the three Spider-Man movie teamed up and they all went to Spider-Man's villa and brought the villains with them, and then they killed Aunt May, and everybody was fucking shocked that they killed Aunt May after you brought a bunch of super villains to your house. But I digress. The whole point of that movie was to move on from that life. They can't remember you. They can't be in jeopardy anymore. I have to move up. I have to stop being Spider-Boy and grow up into Spider-Man. Nope, we're back. Bring Zendaya back. They're getting married. Bring Fat Ned back. We're getting married. They're fucking going to be the Hobgoblin. It's just nonsense. It's just classic them. We don't know where to go. We're afraid to try something new. Let's flip the coin and work our way backwards because we're a bunch of soft pussies. And we know that if we play it safe, the marks will come. And that's why I hate this fucking Tom Holland shit. I despise it. Thank God for Grande. I hate the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. They are fucking terrible. Spider-Man can't fucking punch. He can't punch. Disney says Spider-Man can't punch. Buddy, they punched in one of the movies on my list. That's a Disney movie. So get out of here. You can punch. Infinity War is awesome. Yeah, I agree. Infinity War is awesome. Even his immediate family didn't go see him. No, Robert Downey Jr., his whole family, the Downey Juniors were not down with Dr. Dolittle from 2020. Like, dude, nobody gave a shit. That movie was so bad and made so little money that he said, fuck it, bring me back to the MCU. I'll just play the villain because Jonathan Majors got in trouble. And that's what they fucking did. Alan Silvestri. Chris Hemsworth, hands down, Missy. Okay, Chris Hemsworth wins there's actually a proper order you're supposed to watch them in, which is crazy. Yes, right, there's Captain Marvel's in the 90s. Let's watch Brie Larson. No, thank you. Wild color me shocked. I figured your tribal chief would win. I will say Endgame had the epic scene of Cap being worthy. Totally. I mean, listen, Endgame had moments for sure. There were moments that worked in that movie. I don't like the movie though. Like that to me is bad fan fiction, and it's just it's the perfect marks. Like get in the semicircle, and you know what happens after that if you watch the show. I don't know, man. I'm not a big. I agree about Batman the Animated Series. That's the best representation of Batman, in my opinion. Well, yeah, it's a great show. We got Susie in the house. Susie in Chaos is in the heezy. What's going on, Susie? Hope also with you. The chestnut locks are popping tonight. Jesus Christ. I can never get away from the chestnut shit, man. I have to just go bald, which is honestly, it's probably going to happen. Evening, everyone. Only Black Glove Reviews 1979 is in the house. What's going on, Black Glove Reviews? But I think we spent enough on this one. We're on a half hour in. We're only on one movie, so I'm sorry. I'll try to pick up the pace a little bit. But that'll bring us to our next movie, which I own, so I don't have to share the screen here. Our next movie, which is also from not too long ago, just a couple of years ago, the year 2023 to be exact. This is from writer-director James Gunn, and to me, his best movie he's written and directed, in my also opinion, and it is none other than the third installment of the Guardians of the Galaxy series. This is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Yes, Volume 3. Still reeling from the loss of Gamora, Peter Quill rallies his team to defend the universe and one of their own. A mission that could mean the end of the Guardians if it's not successful. Yes, not much of a brief plot synopsis there, I won't even lie to you, but Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which I do, and you know I love it. If I bought it, like, you know I'm a monster fan of this movie. This is my favorite of the Guardians movies, which I know is a little unpopular to say. I know most people say the first one. I do know some people say the second one. I like the trilogy as a whole. I think all three are good in their own way, but of the three, if you're giving me my pick, it's without a doubt Guardians of the Galaxy Part 3. I love this movie, and I think that it's the perfect bow on top to an otherwise great trilogy. And, you know, we can wind the clocks back a little bit because there is a little bit of a story to tell with this. Is when the original Guardians of the Galaxy was coming out in 2014, I'll never forget this. And this is a true story. I know Nick Reep, a good friend, dear friend of the show. I was speaking with Nick Reep, and he was telling me about this movie's inception and how it was coming out. And I remember being like, let me ask, I was like, is this a possibility that this is Marvel's first big flop? Because this is not a known IP. This is not a really popular comic series. Like, I thought this would bomb, the first one would bomb tremendously in the movie theater. I remember being like, dude, there's no doubt in my mind. And what happened was the movie came out and it was amazing. And it made like just under $800 million. It set the world on fire. To me, it's the closest we've ever come to recapturing the magic, the feel, the vibe of the original Star Wars movie. I think the original Guardians of the Galaxy, it's a magical film, and it really kind of set the gold standard, I think, for a while when it came to the MCU movies, at least the standalone ones, because I love Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, and the rest of them as well, and especially this movie, Part 3, just everything about it, the personality that James Gunn brought to all of these characters, the soundtrack, right? Come and get your love, hooked on a feeling. I see Arthur mentioned that, the hooked on a feeling. So good, man. Like, all the music in these movies are just great, and it's just fun. It's totally Guardians. It gives it its own vibe, feel, tone, and aesthetic. But another thing is the whole controversy of after Guardians 2, James Gunn was going to make Guardians 3 a lot longer, or a lot, I guess previously than to when this came out. And the story was that he was fired over a tweet that he made 10 years prior, and he had said something inappropriate, but nothing, I don't think anything worthy losing your job directing superhero movie at, but he did lose his job to direct it. And he goes on, he makes the Suicide Squad movie for DC, and they were like, oh my God, this is a much bigger improvement over the first terrible Suicide Squad movie. And then Marvel was like, hold on, we want you back, we need you to finish off the Guardians. And then he signed the big deal with DC, and now is off to the races making the Superman, Supergirl, etc. It's crazy that firing really changed everything. Now he's the head honcho at DC, and now he kind of moved on, but he didn't move on from Marvel without making, to me, his best film. And that's Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And this one revolves mostly around Rocket, who's voiced by Bradley Cooper. And Rocket is this raccoon, although he always argues I'm not actually a raccoon. And they're being experimented on, and there's all these animals, and there's this evil guy that I will say, upon a rewatch, he's maybe the weakest point, is the villain, played by Chukwudi Iwuji. He's kind of weak, this villain. I don't know. The look is okay. I like the look, but I don't know. The actual the performance is leaves a little bit to be desired. But basically, he was creating these experiments, and his goal is he wants to create this whole perfect civilization and be known as like a god, right? That's this guy's whole plan. And it's years and years later, and basically he needs Rocket's brain in order to figure this out. So he sends Adam Warlock to go get him, played by Will Poulter, who you might remember from Midsommar, or that terrible We're the Millers. Does anybody remember We're the Millers? He's in that as well, Will Poulter. And they send him down, and we watch as the Guardians are all kind of in disarray, right? We see that Star-Lord again is still reeling from losing the love of his life, Zoe Saldana's Gamora. We see that Nebula is just always angry, always in a miserable mood. You have Drax the Destroyer, played by Dave Bautista, who Batista is so fucking funny in these movies. Like his comedic timing, it's some of the best stuff. Like to this day, I rewatched it a couple nights ago. I was laughing like I'd seen it for the first time. Like that's how good his comedic timing is in this movie. Mantis, who's played by Pom Clementiev. Like I just love all the characters. I think all the characters are so well done and so well written. And again, it's a movie where I love that everyone sort of has their own arc. Everyone sort of has their own story revolving around Rocket and this main story where we see Rocket in the experiment labs and he makes these friends and they're all these animals that have all these terrible defects and terrible experimentation going on to them, right? You have the one lady that she's called Floor, and Teeps and Lila, and all these characters that you really grow to love as the movie kind of plays out, and you see these flashback sequences. And what's sad is that there's no happy ending for them while you're watching it. You're just waiting for the other shoe to drop, and they're going to be killed. And it's quite horrific when it's done. It's a really heart-wrenching moment. And in the modern day, we're following the Guardians as they're trying to kind of save Rocket and get a certain blueprint in order to save him. And who else would they run into but the reincarnation of Gamora here, who it is her, but it's not her again, because the stupid Endgame movie. It's she's alive now, but she don't remember anything because of plot convenience. All right, whatever, we'll go with it. And I loved that. I loved the desire from Star-Lord that wants to convince her, we used to love each other. We used to be together. We used to be this great couple, and you were crazy about me, and I was crazy about you. And he's trying to convince her. And there's a point where she gets angry with him, and she throws him to the wall, and she says, "Why? What is so wrong with you that I have to be anything for you?" And that's a moment where he kind of sees and realizes, he's like, "Oh my God, like, what am I doing? I'm trying to force this thing because I want it. I'm trying to force this thing because I miss the love of my life. And I'm trying to kind of get her to remember the feels and the vibes and things like that." And I really like that arc and angle of the movie. And, the whole way it plays out, where everybody seems to have something to do, right? Everybody is sort of important and meaningful. For example, there's this great kind of third act where this ship is taking off, and this villain is destroying the planet of all these creatures that he's created. And Drax and Nebula and Pom Clementiev, they all kind of break into this thing, and they see these bunch of kids that are going to be the next experiments. And they kind of break in, and they don't speak their language, but Batista, in being kind of a goofy, funny dad vibe guy, they all kind of gravitate towards him and fall in love with him. And there's a great scene where Mantis stands up to Nebula and says, "Why do you always call him a liability? Stop calling him stupid. It's not his fault he's stupid. He makes us laugh and he loves us. What more does he need to be than that? How is that being a liability?" And I love how she stands up to Nebula, get over yourself, bitch. Like, I love that scene. That scene is awesome. And then you see what Batista's talent is here. It's his purpose, his reason for living is not to be Drax the Destroyer. It's to be Drax the dad, right? Drax the father that kind of convinces all these kids to come with them and come to safety. Like, I love that. That's so, not a lot of movies do that, man. That's the brilliance and the power of James Gunn as a writer. He's a great writer. And I selfishly want him to do the Teen Titans movie. I know now he's DC guy. I know now that they've been working on it. They have another writer working on it. Selfishly, that needs to be written and directed by James Gunn to me for it to ever work, because despite what you feel about certain movies he's been a part of, right? I know a lot of people bash the Scooby-Doo movies that he wrote. I know a lot of people bash the Dawn of the Dead remake. He wrote the remake for my favorite movie of all time, and I think that's a really good movie. Like, I know that that's not popular in the Dawn community to say that. I do not give a shit. I think that's a really, really well done, good freaking remake, and I think that its strong suit, its most positive is the writing. I think that James Gunn did such a good job at giving all those people something to remember, something to care about, something to, kind of be like, oh my God, there's more dimensions to this character, despite being a lesser importance character. And I would say that, the thing about Guardians 3 is the heart, is the soul, is the undeniable emotion that James Gunn's writing and their characters can kind of arise from you as a viewer. And I love that. Like, there's a great scene where Rocket he's in the afterlife. It seems like he's slipping away, and he sees his friends from he sees Teeps and Floor and Lila, and they kind of meet, and it's all this white, background. And he says, I guess I'm coming. I guess I'm joining you guys. And they're like, you will in time, but not now. Like, you still have a purpose on that earth. You still have something to do down there. And they kind of zap him back into it. And, there's this really fun third act where I'm done running. And they play the no, sleep until Brooklyn. And you get a great action sequence that never cuts. Really good. And then this villain just gets that shit kicked out of him. It's a great, like, oh my God, you hate this guy, really needs his comeuppance, and he gets what's coming to him. And then the best thing, the thing that you can't deny, the thing that you can't forget, is how it wraps up, is how you end the trilogy, right? Is to all these characters at the end, Star-Lord is seeing off Gamora, and Gamora walks past him, and you could see she feels bad because he looks at her and he still misses the bond. And she walks past him, and she can't look him in the eye when she says it. She has her back to him, and she says, I bet we were fun. And then she says, I know I'm not going to be the girl that you want me to be, but I bet we were fun. And then he, with tears in his eyes, says, you wouldn't believe. And she gets on the ship and she goes away. And then it's at that point where Star-Lord says, I need to talk to everybody. And they have this really emotional meeting where Star-Lord says, listen, I saw my mom died 8 years old, and I have been running from my life ever since. Like, I have to go back. I have to see if there's any family left for me. My grandfather may still be alive. And that's where his path goes. And Mantis has her, I always did what the Guardians wanted. I've always done what Ego wanted, right? What about what I want? What about what I want from this world? And she kind of goes on her own path. And Nebula and Drax kind of stay to kind of build the community. And then Rocket takes over the new Guardians of the Galaxy as the movie kind of wraps up. And instead of, them all going their separate ways, and it's kind of sad, you cry, but it's tears of joy. It's the glory days are over. That song plays, and they're all kind of dancing and stuff. And it's a great, like, I will be completely honest with you. Maybe I'm softer than Gerber food, but I cried when I first saw it in a movie theater. Cried like a fiend. Cried every time I watch this movie. At the end, you cry because it's so earned, right? This is a 3-movie saga. This is 9 years of these characters. This was a guy that was fired and was never supposed to make the third Guardians movie, but because of his undeniable writing talent and direction and really understanding of how you make film, James Gunn got this chance, got this opportunity, and I think the Guardians 3 is, to me, one of the best superhero movies ever made. I love this thing. This is a great, great movie, and I think that of an otherwise perfect trilogy to me, I really like all three. This is a rare case where I think the third one is by far the best. Like, I love this movie. Like, this is an all-timer for me. So really love Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. But let's see what y'all have to say in the chat. We skipped way too far. Let's see. First Guardians is my number 3. It did something important by proving Marvel movies didn't have to be serious. Yeah, and also, though, like, there's something to that first movie. Like, that first movie is so special. Like, I think it's funny. Like, while I definitely like 3 the best, the first one is easily the most important because I'll never forget thinking this is going to bomb. Like, wait till they see the numbers of this. And then it was great because, and it did great because the movie was great. Like, it seemed like word of mouth and people started, like, it was really nice to see. I've never been more happy to have been wrong. What's up, Graveyard? Ghostface Brett is in the house. My wife and I went to watch this movie knowing nothing about the characters and absolutely loved everything about it. It honestly made Guardians characters household names. Yes, and again, that's all James Gunn. Like he took a very underknown, underestablished IP and made them household names. Like, Guardians is now, you can say Guardians and people know it. Like, that's special. He did that for this. My top 9 superhero movie, Flash Gordon. Flash! Oh, Love Guardians, Black Clover Review says. Absolutely. Never fear. Mark is here. Dun, dun, dun. The Marvelous Mark, 87. Welcome, my friend. I love the Avatar superhero. I may have to give Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 a rewatch. I just didn't get it at all. Love the first two, though. Really? Wow. I'm surprised you loved the first two and not this one. I'm curious as to what you didn't like or didn't get, you said. I agree. Solid trilogy for me. 3 is the best, then 2, then 1. What do you think of the Ravengers movie? Never realized. For me, lost opportunity. I mean, I would agree it's a lost opportunity. I don't know if I'm devastated over it. Like, you got to understand, since the year of 2003, buddy, I have been waiting so patiently for them to do a live action Teen Titans movie. And it's just, I don't think it's ever going to happen. I mean, we're literally almost 25 years of waiting on that. And I just don't know if it's going to happen. I really don't. But a man can dream, goddammit. A man can dream. Hey, Dave Bautista is the fucking man in these movies. Nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too fast. I will catch them. Like, the perfect example, he breaks the door down to get into the ship. They're like suffocating. And then he does something really stupid. He like destroys something. And then Nebula's like, why do you always have to be such a goddamn idiot? And then he's like, he's upset and hurt by it. And Mantis goes, forget. And he goes, ha, we wouldn't have gotten here if it wasn't for my incredible strength. Like, without missing a beat, like, I don't know what it is. It's just so funny, dude. Like, the comedic timing is impeccable from Dave Bautista. Like, it is amazing to me, from being the wrestling fan it is, because I never was a fan of Dave Bautista, the wrestler. I never, ever liked Bautista. My goodness, he's a way better actor than he is a pro wrestler. Like, I think he's born to play Drax. Like, it was the perfect casting call. And I'm happy that he got that role, because now it's like at the point where I could never imagine anybody else's Drax. And that's saying a lot, because there's a lot of buff guys in Hollywood, but man, Dave Bautista nailed it. Even though he's not a superhero and is my fave Marvel character, the Punisher, I punish the guilty. Yeah. The Punisher is great, though. I really like the Dolph Lundgren one. I love the Punisher with Dolph Lundgren, and I don't mind the Thomas Jane one. The Ray Stevenson movie is an acquired taste, not my acquired taste personally, and I'm not seeing the Joe Bernthal Punisher. Hey, Grande, Cooper Glover's in the house. Welcome. I didn't know people hate on the dude. You'd be surprised. Like, the community of Dawn of the Dead fans, and I know them all very well, right? Like, the Living Dead, like, that is a hated movie amongst that community. And I do think it's biased. I really do. I think sometimes there are people or fans that are so close to Dawn that they're blinded by the remake. Like, I think they're blinded that you can't remake this movie. And listen, I am the biggest Dawn of the Dead. Like, that's my favorite fucking film ever. But like, I think it shows that I'm not biased in any way. Like, I'm completely unbiased. Like, I really enjoy that movie, and I think James Gunn does a great job. Zack Snyder, yes, some of the direction a little wonky. Did you have to have that birth, like that pregnancy thing where the lady's giving birth to a zombie baby? I don't know. That sequence doesn't work, but everything else in the movie works. The lady at Dairy Queen, she's dead. That felt like George. Like, I thought that was such a. And the whole, what's your favorite job? Being a dad. Oh, what's your least favorite job? Was being a husband. Like, you could see, yeah, I loved having kids, but I couldn't really sustain my marriage, right? Like, you get so much from just 2 answers of 2 questions, which are in that Dawn remake. Like, that to me is the power of James Gunn. And I think he does a really good job with writing that one. I've cried every time I watch this, and as well. Yeah, no, it's. I will, and funny fact, I went to see this in the movies twice, and that never happens with me. Like, usually I'm one and done. That's it. I'll buy it on Blu-ray if I liked it. I remember I got out of the theater, I pre-ordered the 4K, and then I went back to see it again, and I was like, my God, like, that is what superhero movies should be nowadays. And I agree, this is by far the best for me, and they're all great. They are. They really are. They're all tremendous movies. Off subject, but did you get your VS halfway to Black Friday order yet, Grande? Dude, I didn't order. I'm not a big VS guy. Like, I'm really not. Like, tonight, I'm definitely getting in on Solange. Like what have you done to Solange? Is coming to 4K at midnight tonight. You bet your ass I'm getting that. Like, that, I am very excited for that. But as far as VS, I don't know. I'm kind of underwhelmed with some of their titles lately. They have really not had a good sale to me in quite some time. But I don't know. I could always check the backlogs and shit like that. But I don't know. If you have anything you recommend, please do tell me. Oh boy, the raps have returned. Dawn of the Dead is a very good remake, not as good as the original, but still quite a good remake. You just have fresh eyes for it. Okay, understood. Fuck that stupid movie. Speaking of diehard Dawn of the Dead fans that don't like the remake, there he is, the Alpha of all George Romero fans, Alpha Romero 88. Welcome, buddy. Hope all is well with you. Always hated the Dawn remake. Okay, see, Tom, you're getting your answer here, right here, pal. Always hated the Dawn remake, but mostly because I just hated the opening scene so much. The rest of that movie could make up for it. Haven't seen it in years, though. Okay, understood. James Gunn is a hack. Oh shit, Alfa Romero. The gloves have come off. Alfa Romero is unsubscribed. He's burning my t-shirt as we speak. He's like, it's the NWO, brother. Dawn of the Dead has been remade twice. I like the Snyder remake was their second remake. No, I don't think anybody said that unless I missed that comment. This is what has the list been so far. All right, Beaver Stew, Chris is in the house. List so far, you only missed 2 movies. So the first movie was Avengers Infinity War. That was number 10. Number 9, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And I actually remember coming to work and telling Chris how much I love this movie. So fun throwback there. Chris can vouch for me on that one. People saying hello. There's our beautiful boy. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. But yeah, Guardians 3, I just absolutely, I love it. I think it's a great movie. Now, moving on to one that, I know I've been spending a lot of time on these. We're almost an hour in. We're only 2 movies in. So I'm going to try it. Maybe I'll go through this one a little bit faster because I didn't get a chance to rewatch this for the show. But I have watched it on this VHS ever since the year it came out, and this is going to age me a little bit because this came out in the year 2003. This is a movie that I think is tremendous. Really underrated. I'm talking about X2, X-Men United, and you can see that this is an old VHS tape from 23 years ago. My goodness, it's a goddamn relic, by God. But let's get a brief plot synopsis for y'all as we go here. Okay, when anti-mutant Colonel William Stryker kidnaps Professor X and attacks his school, the X-Men must ally with their arch enemy Magneto to stop him. X2, man, holy shit. And I know, listen, like X-Men now has evolved and people, it's almost like these 3 never happened now. Like you had the First Class and now there's Logan and the Wolverine and Deadpool. Like to me, it feels like these movies are ancient history. Like nobody mentions the original X-Men trilogy anymore. And a lot of people, they love to hate the 3rd movie. I really don't. I've never hated the 3rd movie. Like never. Always thought X-Men 3: The Last Stand was okay. It's not as good as the first 2. But to me, as an ending of that trilogy, it's not a horrible movie. It's not Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, but I think it's a good movie. It's a lot better than X-Men Origins Wolverine. It's a lot better than Dark Phoenix. The Dark Phoenix movie. Oh, we'll fix the Dark Phoenix, Ari. We'll fix all that. Yeah, horse shit. Compare X-Men 3 to that movie and then hold my fucking Mountain Dew between your fucking snatch and tell me which one's better. But I digress. X2, X United. This is an awesome movie as well. Just from Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler, right? And the effects of where he kind of pops up and grabs you and then can like teleport all over the place. That was freaking awesome, man. When I first saw this as a kid, I was like, holy shit. Like I was amazed how they did that. Like I remember that's like one of those cinema moments where I was like, all right, how'd they do that? That was a really cool special effect that still holds up to this day. Hugh Jackman is Wolverine, the character he was born to play, the character that it's like he is what Christopher Lee was to Dracula is what Hugh Jackman is to Wolverine. Like he will play this character. I think it's been nearly 10 times now. And it's like he just can't escape it. No matter how many good performances, how many great movies, how many, movies like Prisoners or the new Sweet Caroline, whatever the fuck movie it was called. I forget the damn name of it. But you know what I'm talking about, that particular movie. Like he's been in so many great filmscapes, so many great performances, but he will always be remembered as Wolverine. And it's understandably, as to why. Halle Berry is Storm, smoking hot. You have Rogue, played by Anna Paquin. You have the Iceman, who I've always been a really big fan of. I really, really like that actor, Shawn Ashmore. I think Shawn Ashmore is awesome. You might remember him in a little movie called Frozen. And I guess the irony there is Iceman is in Frozen. I think that's pretty cool. But the story here is William Stryker is sort of the creator, quote unquote, of Logan, of Wolverine, and he creates him and basically finds him after all of these years and is looking to kind of recruit him because he's anti-mutant. And to me, what's so good about this movie is the direction. Now, obviously, the director of this movie, not the greatest guy in the world, if you know what I mean. You know Bryan Singer and you know his history. Yeah, if any of that stuff is true, and unfortunately I do believe it is, personally, he can go fuck himself. However, he did do a very good job directing these movies, separating the art from the person, I guess, for a minute here. He does do a really good job directing a lot of these sequences. And what I thought was always so good about his X-Men movies was the atmosphere and the slight addition of, it does feel sort of horror-esque. I don't understand exactly how to explain it to you, but I can explain certain sequences. Like there's a great sequence where Professor Xavier, he's in this kind of lab where he can't really use his powers, and they have this other guy who's this kind of deformed guy in a wheelchair trying to read his mind, and that all that is terrifying to me. Like I think all that stuff really works. There's the scene where Mystique, Rebecca Romijn, who's one of the best in this. I love the look, love the performance. I think Mystique is great in these movies. They've never done Mystique as good as they did Mystique in this movie. She goes to this bar undercover as Rebecca Romijn Stamos and kind of sits down and pops a beer to this guy, and he's one of the prisoners of Magneto, who's kind of in this kind of plastic prison, if you will. And she gives him this beer, she drugs him, they're about to like fuck, and then the guy just passes out, and then she injects iron into him. I always thought that was so cold. Like, wow, that's so fucking weird. And then the next day, the guy's at work, he's groggy, and then Magneto uses the iron in his blood and kind of pulls it out of him to kind of walk out of the prison. What a cool prison escape. Like, holy shit. I thought that was amazing. And it felt very horror-esque. Like, be careful what you do in your personal life, Jimmy, because if you go to work the next day and there's too much iron in your blood, Magneto's going to escape that son of a bitch. Love that. Love the Wolverine Kelly Hu fight. That is my favorite fight in any X-Men movie, where Kelly Hu has the 5 claws, right? She's, I guess, his new prototype, and maybe love interest. I don't know, the love interest of William Stryker. Maybe he's fucking her on the side. They don't ever go there, but it's heavily implied, at least to me. That fight is incredible, where they're fighting in that like lab room, and then it ends up where she's in the water and she's stabbing the fuck out of Wolverine, and then he has to like drop down and drown her to kill. Like, that's freaking amazing. I love that entire sequence. That's just incredible cinema. And then the whole finale with Jean Grey and she's falling and Nightcrawler has to get her and teleport back. And I don't know, like, this is the best X-Men movie. Like, I like the first one a lot. I think the third, again, don't mind the third one. After that, I fell off. I didn't give a shit with First Class or Days of Future Past. Like, I was out of the scene. Like, I was full on horror mode at that time. So that was, like, I saw those movies later on. They don't hit the same as this. Like, I watched this on VHS as a kid and was just fucking floored. Like, holy shit, this is an awesome movie. I love X-Men 2. I'm going to try to go a little bit faster here. X-Men 2 is great, but let's see what y'all have to say in the comments. Because that's a really nostalgic one for me, for sure. Let's see. I wonder if Drake Bell superhero spoof movie makes the cut. No, I'll spoil that for you right now. It does not. Dude, I remember that, and I went shortly after. Yes, this is truth. This is truth. Top 8, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 1990. Hell yeah, man. Logan is my number 1. Hugh Jackman was born to play Wolverine. Logan is, oh my God. And the direction, my God. Like, that's a great movie. Logan is a tremendous movie. And my Lord, we might have to break out a Dusty here just because of how Daphne Keane has developed. Let me tell you something, baby. Daphne Keane, if you will, baby. I may not be so keen on Dark Phoenix, baby, but I am keen for Ashley because she's hot as, or what is it, Ashley Keane? Or I think it's Daphne Keane. Ashley Keane. No, Daphne Keane is who I meant to say. There's a girl. I went to high school with some girl named Ashley Keane. That's where the fucking mix-up comes. Some of my favorite superhero movies, in no ranking order, would probably be Reeves Superman, maybe Reeves Superman 3, and I'd say Batman Begins, Dark Knight. Okay. I meant Superman 2. Okay. I call the OG X-Men trilogy a different universe. And that's also a lame excuse. Yeah, that's understandable. X-Men 97 season's coming soon, and that's awesome. I've seen that with my brother-in-law. Those are awesome. X2 is one of the best Marvel movie opening scenes, Nightcrawler in the White House. Yes, oh my God, that's awesome. And like, again, that fucking fight between Kelly Hu and Hugh Jackman is like, holy shit. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've watched that fight over, playing him till you're 90. Basically, Dark Phoenix is garbage like X2 Juggernaut, and X-Men Last Stand really bugs me a lot. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch! Listen, the Last Stand has problems. Like, there's some problems with X-Men 3, The Last Stand, but But I think overall it kept the heart. Like, I don't know. I think honestly the biggest mistake of X-Men 3 was replacing the director. And I know it wasn't his choice, or I guess their choice. The whole story with that went, it was DC offered Bryan Singer to make Superman Returns. They said, hey, we want you to do Superman Returns. And he was like, absolutely, I want to do Superman Returns. So he left, he did that. Superman Returns is not a good movie. It's not as bad as I remember, but it's not a good movie either. And it feels like Superman meets the art house. Like, let's make an art house Superman film. And it doesn't work. It just doesn't. It's like, we'll have Brandon Routh, but we'll have him play the Christopher Reeve. Like, he's just impersonating Christopher Reeve, basically. And then everybody else is different the way they act. I didn't like that. But they removed him and they brought in Brett Ratner, who did the Rush Hour movies and Red Dragon. And it just felt like the direction really needed Bryan to be there. And once you lost him, I think that's the biggest problem with X-Men 3 is you lost your guy that was really leading the ship. And again, don't like the guy personally. The guy's a piece of shit personally, but I do think he was the right guy to direct the film. I'll never forget seeing X-Men in the theaters. See, that to me is what it's all about, is the memories. Like, I sat down and thought about that, and that's a lot of the reason why a lot of these movies end up making the list was, where was I? Can I remember being in the theater? Can I remember being amazed? And that to me is a big part of why I love superhero movies. And like that's a big part of this list. VS hasn't put out anything new. I've been interested for 2 years, so I just bulked up on their back catalog stuff. My biggest VS recommendation would be House on Tombstone Hill, my favorite Troma. Oh, very nice. Is that a block? No, AJ Zetro, I will do you one better, my friend. This is a Hollywood Video sticker, which is it's gonna be a bitch to focus. It's not going to do it. But I promise you, it is a Hollywood Video sticker. Agree with Batman Begins, Dark Knight Kubrick. Superheroes are not my thing unless it's Darkman, enjoying John and chat conversations, though. Thank you. I appreciate that. And you won't be disappointed. One of the movies you mentioned may just be on the list. I love the X2 opening scene as much as I hate the opening scene from Dawn 2004. Okay, there you go. Back-to-back years, too, right? X2 was great on so many different levels. Brian Cox was a presence. Yeah, he's great as Stryker. Like, he tries to talk Jackman into it, right? Like, listen, Logan. Like, he's really good at trying to humanize his creation. I really like that stuff. I remember Hollywood Video. Man, don't we all? I miss it. I really do miss it. But that is number 8. Let's move on to the next one. And speaking of movies that I'm super nostalgic for and I can remember seeing in the movie theater and I can remember really loving this movie, and I rewatched it for the first time in a really long time this week just to make sure. And man, it still holds up, this next movie. And I actually, I have to, let me share the screen here. Sorry, it's bugging out on me right now. Let me go here to share the screen. And here we go. It's right at the bottom. Sorry about that. Coming in at number 7 from the year 2005, this is Sky High. Yes, Sky High from the year 2005. I know, maybe one you didn't see coming here tonight, maybe a controversial one, but I'll try to explain myself. But first, as always, a brief plot synopsis. Will Stronghold is the son of 2 famous superheroes, the incredibly strong, seemingly invulnerable Commander and his high-speed flying wife, Jetstream. Will, however, does not actually know if he has any powers of his own and has not told his parents this. He and his best friend Layla are facing their first day of secret school in the clouds like none on Earth. Sky High, the first and only school for kids with superhuman powers going through crime-fighting puberty. Will seems destined to grow up a mere sidekick, but as he discovers his true strengths, he'll also learn it takes loyalty and teamwork to truly become a hero. And you're not seeing that wrong. I could try to zoom in a little bit. I think this is a little bit, no zoom in is not going to work on that, unfortunately. Sorry, y'all. But if you see in the center there, that's Kurt fucking Russell. Kurt Russell plays the dad, plays the Commander in this. And I remember as a kid, I was still one of the biggest fans. Like, I really, really enjoyed, all Kurt Russell movies at that time. And I was like, oh my God, a superhero movie with Kurt Russell being the star. Like, I have to go see that. And I can remember going with my grandmother. She took me to see this. I was like 8 years old. And we went to the cinema that night. And I remember just absolutely loving it. Now, the movie doesn't really star Kurt Russell. He's basically just the dad character in the movie. But still, Kurt got me in. And like, I love the idea of this movie. This is, to me, a movie that's so ahead of its time and so innovative in what it does, because what it does is it blends the tropes of a John Hughes coming-of-age high school teeny bopper movie, with a superhero template, right? What if this kid who's Will Stronghold, what if his parents are the two greatest superheroes in the whole wide world, the Commander and Jetstream, they're all over the place, and you're born a late bloomer. You're born where you think you have no powers. You can't fly like mom. You can't be super strong like dad. You're this outcast and you're afraid to tell them because you're afraid of what their reaction might be. And on your first day of superhero high school, you go and you get assigned if you're a hero or if you're a sidekick, right? And who other than to be the person to assort these kids than Bruce Campbell. Bruce Campbell plays the gym coach, Boomer. Coach Boomer, he has the sonic booming voice. And he labels you whether you're a hero or a sidekick. And like, I love this particular movie, and I love that it really kind of plays on the tropes of being a teenager, right? Because when you go to high school, when you go to a normal high school, what happens? There are different groups, there are different factions of people, right? There's the goths, there's the jocks, there's the smart brainiacs, there's the heavy metal kids, there's every, you can name every cliched group that there's ever going to be in a high school, but throw the superhero element on it, and are you a hero or are you a sidekick, right? Are you cool or are you not? And I love that psychology and writing, and I think that Sky High nails that on the head as we meet Will Stronghold, his best friend Layla, played by Danielle Panabaker, who a lot of people that grew up on the Disney Channel like me will remember her from movies like Stuck in the Suburbs and shit like that. Like I always had a big crush on Danielle Panabaker, and also she would go on to be in the Friday the 13th remake. She's one of the final girls in the Friday the 13th remake, so kind of cool. So definitely some horror alum here, right? You got Kurt Russell, you got Bruce Campbell, you got Danielle Panabaker. The villain is Mary Elizabeth Winstead, pre-Final Destination 3, pre-The Thing prequel, or pre-cum, as I call it. I mean, Mary Elizabeth Winstead is great and looking beautiful as ever in this movie. I remember at the age of 8, that was one of the first women I ever remember being like, holy it's. Like, that was one of the first women I ever was like, wow, like, that is a beautiful ass goddamn woman. And I remember being so disappointed when I find out that she's the heel of the movie. Like, damn it. Like, oh, man. But we can settle for Danielle Panabaker. She's definitely a strong next option. And we watch as these kids, they're labeled as sidekicks because they have weird powers, right? They have abstract. It's not the classic super strength or freeze breath or x-ray eyes. No, instead it's the one kid, Zach, he glows. The one girl, Magenta, she's a shapeshifter, but she can only turn into a purple guinea pig. The one kid, Larry, who's bullied and victimized and teased, he can turn into like this sludgy goo. And all of them have these like really underwhelming powers that they're, labeled as sidekicks, and they're not fitting in and they're not over and things like that. And what happens is you go through the day in and day out lives of being a kid in school where you're not a hero, where you're not a part of the cool crowd. And you meet all these great colorful characters along the way, like War and Peace. Instead of War and Peace, they call him War and Peace, which I thought was great. He has this flame powers. And there's a fun fight in the cafeteria, which this movie has punching in it. Tom Holland, Disney Spider-Man movies. You can't punch in Spider-Man movies, but you can punch in high school Sky High movies. Crazy. You have those fun scenes. You have the scene where they have to save the citizen in gym class and they're fighting these two bully guys and stuff like that. Love that sequence. I think that's fun. And it kind of all culminates to Mary Elizabeth Winstead is this villain from yesteryear who has de-aged herself and she's grown up again, and now she's part of the popular crowd, and her idea is to get her weapon back from Kurt Russell. He has this secret sanctum where he keeps all these villains' weapons, and she wants to kind of seduce Will, the son, and get the weapon and kind of turn all of the mega superheroes into babies. That's her big plan of the movie. And the whole thing kind of culminates at the prom, the high school prom night. And it's up to all the sidekicks to step up and prove their worth as heroes. And I love, again, that might sound as cheesy or as sweet as like so sweet that it'll rot the teeth out of your mouth type of sweet. I hear that if you're hearing this and thinking that, like, man, that sounds a little too sweet for me. Too sweet, right? I hear that completely, but like, I am such a sucker for a movie like this because, again, and it's a big theme of the night, right? We look at a Teen Titans, we look at a Guardians of the Galaxy, you look at a Sky High. All of these kids ended up having their purpose in the end in order to beat the big bad villain. We have the Zach character. They can't see anything, and they're like, oh my God, this is useless. We can't see it. He glows so they can kind of see. And then one of them says, then all the reindeer loved him. I thought that was a great line. You have the one guy, he's super fast, and he's kind of like trying to tease them and jab them along the way. and the guy just turns into sludge and he slips on the sludge and just crashes and burns. I thought that was great usage of him. The school is going to fall. Like they've taken the gravity out of the school, so it's going to plummet from the sky. And they're like, oh my God, the only way to get to the control is if you were like as big as a rat or something. And they all look at the girl that could turn into a fucking hamster. And it's up to her to crawl through and disengage the gravity thing. Like there's something, it's such a charm to it. It's such a, and I'll never forget this. And this is I almost, I swear to you, when I saw the movie again, when I watched it the other night, I almost cried because I remembered verbatim what my grandmother said as we walked out of the theater. I remember she said, that was a cute movie. And like, I agree. That's the perfect way to put it. Sky High is a cute movie. There's something cute about it. It has a heart, a charm, and a soul to it that it's just endearing. It's super endearing. Like, that's what I love about Sky High. And like, it's, again, like, the guy gets the girl and the villain is defeated and the sidekicks are named heroes. And I love the kind of closing monologue as Will Stronghold. He says, so my, my arch enemy became one of my best friends. My girlfriend became my arch enemy, and my best friend became a girlfriend. I know it's a mess, but that's high school. And it kind of ends and they play this great, I'll stop the world and melt with you. Bah, 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 bah. Like, so like I love that as they're kind of twirling around the school and like the movie just comes to an end. It becomes like comic panels. I don't know. Call me a sucker. Call me crazy. Call me whatever you want to call me. But I think this is a great movie. Like, I love Sky High. I think it's a brilliant idea. I think it's really actually deeper than maybe anyone else may have given it credit for, especially at said time. And it unfortunately fell under the umbrella of it was not a big enough moneymaker for them. Like I envisioned sequels. The movie made just under 100 million. I think it made like 86 million plus, and they were thinking well over 100. So unfortunately, while the movie wasn't necessarily a bomb, it also didn't do the business that they thought it was going to do. So it's a movie that's widely forgotten, a relic of the past. 21 years this movie is, and it's crazy to me because when I first made the list, it wasn't one that really came to mind. But when I thought about it, I was like, man, this one meant the world to me, though. Like, I can remember that theater experience. I can remember really being excited about it. Like, I to this day wish they had done a sequel. Like, it would have been, something really cool to see. But Sky High is a really good one. I love Sky High. Like, this is a movie that maybe only I would ever have on a list like this. But I love this movie. So I'm curious to hear if you guys are into this movie as well. Let's see. Never went into a Hollywood video, but remember its existence. Okay. We got Down is Up. Jeff, good brother. Good evening, Grande. I hope you and everyone in the chat are doing well. Some sad news that I just wanted to pass on. Suzanne Romero has passed away. Oh, my God. That's terrible. That's terrible news. I'm sure, obviously, Alpha, I'm not sure if Alpha's still here, but I'm sure that he'll be making a video, honoring her memory and stuff like that too. So RIP Suze, that's terrible. What a throwback. Right. I was like, this has to be on there. I'm sitting down. I looked at the list over and over and over, and I'm like, this has to be fucking on there. Like, I was like, this is an absolute classic movie. Like, I love this movie. Like, to me, like as far as childhood movies goes, Sky High is right there. You took the words right out of my mouth, Grande. Oh, really? Is this this movie is like a brat pack of superheroes? Yeah, it really is. It really is the John Hughes formula, but what if they were superheroes? And it works. It's so good, and all the acting talent is really like. And I liked all the nods to former super, like Linda Carter's Principal Powers. I was like, and there's a great line where she goes, "I'm not Wonder Woman," I thought that was great. Like, so some of the writing in this is very clever. Like, I liked the dialogue of this. There's a great scene where these two guys, they're kind of like, harassing this girl, and she turns around and just freezes them, and they're just stuck there the whole movie. They're frozen on the lawn of the fucking school. I thought that was funny, man. Grande, I just thought of the Pixar film, The Incredibles. I love that film, watched it multiple times. I thought the sequel had interesting visual parts, but it was basically lame, focusing on the misses. Well, stay tuned, because you might just get your way here of seeing The Incredibles make this list. Just a brief possible spoiler. Russell is good as the dad too. Yeah, Kurt Russell's great. I love Kurt Russell. I wasn't disappointed when I found out he wasn't the lead in the movie, but it was cool. And of course, the late great Kelly Preston as the mom. R.I.P. Kelly Preston. I can't lie to you. Every time I see Kelly Preston in something now, I'm like, too soon. Too soon. Like, she should still be with us. Like, she was Oh man, that one hurts. I loved Kelly Preston, man. George Romero's Rice. Yes, The Secret Sanctum. Yes, The Secret Sanctum. My top 8 hero movie is Black Scorpion from 1995. Whoa, I didn't see that one coming. I wonder if David Cronenberg's History of Violence has a superhero element to it. I would say no. Family, I highly recommend. Grande for the Matter. Check out Cronenberg's Scanners. Oh, well, I've seen Scanners before. This movie is the cover of the Modern English's hit song, I'll Melt With You. Yes, and what's it called? They have Bowling for Soup does the cover of it in this movie. We see the difference and it's getting better all the time. It's something charming about this movie. Maybe it's my 80s growing up talking. They should give a career Academy Award to Kurt Russell. Dude, if they give Lifetime Achievement Awards to, I think they gave one to Jackie Chan. I think they gave, like, why not Kurt Russell? Absolutely. Now, the whole controversy of what Kurt Russell is charging at the conventions, that he's finally going to do a convention and he's just like $500 for him to sign a DVD. Yeah, that's fucked up. So unfortunately, Kurt Russell's not in my highest fucking regard as of right now. But as a talent, one of the best ever. Grande is in Sky High, similar to The Incredibles. Have you heard the screenwriter will write a story about another screenwriter knowing each other? I'm not sure what you're asking. Hey, all a little late, but glad I made it for this. Welcome, Anthony, Fever Dreamland Theater. Anthony's got quite a schedule coming up. He's reviewing one of the most underrated season 3 Twilight Zones, The Little People, which I hope he likes it as much as I do. But that's coming up. And also, he's reviewing, I think, his top 10 Tales from the Crypt episodes. So I'm really much looking forward to that. It's going to be awesome. But Sky High, come on, love Sky High. I think it's great. Just think Sky High is an absolute must on this list here tonight. And that comes in at number 7 as we move on to number 6. Bubble Boy, the top 5 now. This is a movie that I didn't see in the movie theater, and largely because of a very unpopular opinion I have on the previous movie. But there's no denying how big of a blockbuster this was. There's no denying that this was an undoubted and deserving billion-dollar picture. And it's from director Christopher Nolan from the year 2008, starring Christian Bale and the late, great Heath Ledger. I'm talking about it right here, right now. I'm talking about The Dark Knight. Yes, The Dark Knight from 2008. Brief plot synopsis. When a menace known as the Joker wreaks havoc and chaos on the people of Gotham, Batman, James Gordon, and Harvey Dent must work together to put an end to the madness. Yes, The Dark Knight, man. There's so much to be said about this particular movie. And I can precurse to say the reason I didn't go to the movie theater was because to this day, I hate Batman Begins. I think Batman Begins is the worst Batman movie by a mile. And like, you got to keep in mind what I grew up on when it came to Batman. For me, it was the Joel Schumacher films. I saw those before I saw anything else. I saw the Adam West Show before I saw the Keaton movies, the Burton movies, before I saw the Nolan movies. And I went to the theater in 2005, same year as Sky High, probably right around the same time. And I honestly like Sky High a lot better than the Dark Knight Rises or the Batman Begins movie. I saw Batman Begins in the theater and I fucking hated it. It was too much Begins, not enough Batman, not a good movie for a kid. Like, you got to keep in mind, for an 8-year-old, Batman Begins sucks. Like, it's not pleasing. It's not entertaining. Maybe for adults, I know there's a lot of people that claim that's the best Batman movie in their opinion. That's great if you feel a way. I don't see it at all. I, to this day, think that movie fucking sucks. And maybe it's because just you never get a second chance to make a first impression. I don't know. Maybe that's personal. I know I said before I'm not really biased, but maybe there's a bias there. I don't know. But I'll tell you where there's no bias is the sequel, is the movie that came out 3 years later, is The Dark Knight. Because I saw this another date myself, rented this movie on the Redbox. That was when I saw The Dark Knight finally. It was years after it came out, years after Ledger had passed, years after all the hype had died down. I rented this upstate New York with my father in New Paltz on the Redbox. And we watched it for $1, rented The Dark Knight, went back to the house, watched it, and we're blown away. I remember my dad at the line of the night, he said, "That's the best dollar I ever spent." You know, I thought that was, we were kind of cracking up laughing, but this is a perfect movie. There's really nothing wrong with The Dark Knight. It's a great, great film from top to bottom. And, you know, the undoubted talking point, the undoubted best thing in it is the late Heath Ledger, who I had to make sure was the poster represented here. It was the person I had to make sure I spotlighted, because it is his performance that ultimately elevates it to being the number 6 superhero movie ever made, in my opinion. But that's not to say there's not other great stuff in it too. But I do think his performance is an all-timer, and it's arguably, if not the greatest performance ever in a superhero movie. I would say it is. I think it's the greatest performance ever put to superhero film that there's ever been. It's that great, and he did deserve the Oscar posthumously. It's so sad that he wasn't able to enjoy the hype and love of that character. And I know there have been people that say, "Oh, well, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal had he not passed." I know there's people that argue that. That's fine. Listen, if you feel that way, I know morally it sounds horrible. If you feel that way, I don't at all. I think he's great. I think it's a well-deserved Academy Award. But if you feel that way and don't like it for whatever reason, you're entitled to feel that way as well. And you don't think he deserved it. That's fine. I'm here to say that I think he did. And I think that the movie itself is just tremendous because the whole psychology of it, the whole brilliance of the Joker character, I think, is just totally capitalized on in this movie. And now I know people very nostalgic for Jack Nicholson. I love Jack Nicholson. Some people love Joaquin Phoenix. I'm all in on Heath Ledger. Like, I think Heath Ledger and the psychology of this Joker is the best that it's ever been done. Because again, as we watch this movie, as we hear him in his speeches, I love how they change about the scars, right? He asks several different people in this movie, "Do you want to know how I got these scars?" And every single time he asks that question and provides an answer, it's a different story. And to me, the brilliance of the psychology behind that is it's never just one thing. It's never just a single straw to break the proverbial camel's back. It's a load of things. It's the horrors of real life, right? It's a parent that didn't treat you well. It's a girlfriend that didn't treat herself well. It's, being in debt. It's being in fear. It's being in all these horrific places in your life that will turn you to the dark corner that makes you the Joker. That no alias, no name, no reason, no why. He just is. And his plan is to prove that when the chips are down, all of these civilized people that are oh so prim and oh so proper and oh so holier than thou, that they will eat each other, right? And that, we mentioned George Romero a few times here tonight. I think that's an age-old George Romero trope, right? If we cannot work together in here, we'll be eaten by the zombies out there. That's George Romero 101. That's what George is famous for. That's why people still, all these years later, talk about why George Romero was great. And this is a superhero movie kind of taking that same aesthetic. And instead of zombies, we use the people because the people are the zombies are the people. Come on, people. If have seen enough zombie movies, you can make those correlations. And to me, I love that psychology from Heath Ledger, right? There's a lot of scenes in this where, kill each other and the winner gets the spot on my team, or the opening where they're doing the bank heist and each guy is picking off the next in the thing. And I'm sure the boss told you to kill me, right? No, I kill the bus driver. And he's like, the bus driver, boom, gets hit, ran over. And then he kills the bus driver, as he said, and drives away with the money on his own. Like, just so good. Like, I love how that's done. And like the interrogation scene with Batman and the Joker, possibly the best Batman Joker scene that there's ever been, right? You wanted me. Here I am. I wanted to see what you do, and you didn't disappoint. And the whole back and forth between them is tremendous. And like, again, I love this is what happens when an irresistible force meets an immovable object. You are simply incorruptible. I just love that. And this city just showed you that it's filled with people willing to believe in good, and until their spirit breaks completely. Like, the Joker always has a rebuttal in this movie. You can't get one up on him. And then the whole, I got an ace in a hole. I took Gotham's White Knight and I brought him down to our level. You need an ace in the hole. Mine's Harvey. Where's yours? Like, I love how that's done. I just think that's just so good. The psychology of it is how I can turn your most good and the hero that the city needs and the epitome of all things good and turn it bad. I can make it turn evil. And how do I do that? I'll kill the love of his life. And he kills Rachel in the movie. They blow her up with the bomb and stuff like that. Now, personally, I don't like I can't stand Maggie Gyllenhaal. I wish it had been Katie Holmes. I think, like, I laugh at this movie where he's like, "Oh, hello, beautiful," and it's Maggie Gyllenhaal. I'm just like, buddy, what the fuck? You really missed Katie Holmes in the beautiful department, and I think she's a better actress. I can't stand Maggie Gyllenhaal's ass. If I see Maggie Gyllenhaal, I just turn it off. Like that's an ultimate, like, oh my god, that's how you know this is a good movie, because I can't stand her. But that's neither here nor there. That's a moot point. I'm sorry. But yeah, no, like, again, really, I like Bale a lot as Bruce Wayne. I don't really as the voice, like the whole "I'm not wearing hockey pads." Like, I don't really like the voice. I think it's kind of shitty, but I don't know. Everything else in this movie is tremendous. Psychology, the battle of good and evil, the whole point that the Joker is trying to make in the film, and, like, I don't know. I think the writing is great. The direction from Chris Nolan's great. I do think that some of the fight choreography could be better. A lot of it is very quick. Like, it's way too quick, some of the way he shoots these movies. And it's funny is I don't like Batman Begins. I'm not big on The Dark Knight Rises. Like, this is the one of the three I think this is an all-time movie, right? That great score. And this is the hero that Gotham maybe doesn't need right now, but it's the hero that Gotham deserves, right? And the whole A Dark Knight, that great score. That's epic stuff, man. The Dark Knight it's perfect. It's perfect cinema. It really is. These next few movies, I would consider all of them really, really perfect films. I would say 6-1 are all movies I consider to be in the perfect category here. Let's see. Wow, a lot of comments. Like, they'll have close stories, but they had no idea the other person. I think it happens in Hollywood. I mean, I think it happens in Hollywood a lot too. I don't know if that happened with those particular movies. Grande Christian Bale is going to be pissed that you kept him at 6. It's all right. You man, you see, you didn't say a word about Sky High, so I'm sure your Christian Bale impression was thrilled about that. My number 7 is Batman from '66. Oh, dude. And to me, you can't recast Julie Newmar. Like, Julie Newmar was born. I know there's a big debate. Oh, who do you like best as Catwoman? Everybody usually says Pfeiffer because they put Pfeiffer in tight leather. That's fine. Julie Newmar kick her fucking ass. Julie Newmar is by a mile the best Catwoman. And Julie Newmar's still alive. Julie Newmar's still kicking freaking ass, man. And I don't know if Anthony's still here, but she's also the second best devil in the Twilight Zone, Miss Devlin. I'm a huge Julie Newmar mark, dude. I should do a Julie Newmar fucking actress spotlight. Would be hilarious. The winter because it had no heater. R.I.P. Heath Ledger, the Joker in this movie, is an icon. Definitely a hell of a lot better than the garbage ass Leto. Well, yeah, there's venereal diseases that are better than Jared Leto as the Joker. There is an iconic scene where Batman running around with the huge bomb. Yes, that's right. That's right. And somebody, when the new Batman, with Robert Pattinson, or as I call him, Robert Battinson, came out, they played the Nirvana song over that where he's carrying the bomb. Something in the way. Bro, I was dying laughing. It's Adam West 60s with his Nirvana. Batman, some days you just can't get rid of the bomb, right? That's right. Let's see. I saw Dark Knight in the theater. Heath Ledger was great in it. He's one of the only 2 actors to win an Oscar after his death. And yes, the other one was Network. The same year Rocky was up for it as Stallone. I have a favorite Batman actor. Yes, there is an answer to that question. And he's at number 1. But I'm not going to divulge that right now. We're going to just have to wait till we get to that point. If you stick it out with us, I promise you'll get the answer, but I don't want to give it away. I'm not wearing hockey pads. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I do not like that at all. Well, how beautiful. I always just cringe at that. I'm like, dude, she ain't beautiful. Come on. Like, that's clearly just forced. The Dark Knight must be in the top 10, but it's not my favorite Batman movie. Ooh, I'm curious to know what your favorite Batman movie is then. What are your thoughts on the Gotham series? I loved it, Dark and Funny. Dude, the Gotham series is tremendous. The way they did the Penguin especially. Because to me, if you go through all the Batman villains, the Penguin is probably my favorite as far as the comic goes and the origin of that character. My God, like, I've always loved the Penguin. Such an interesting character where he was bullied as a kid and his mom would make him take the umbrella to protect him. And I love that shit. And to me, they got the Penguin right, that Gotham series. It was actually really, really good. I'm actually happy you brought that up. I haven't watched it since it was on television, but I really liked that show. I thought it was really well done. I carved my face and she can't stand the sight of me. So good. Why so serious? See, that's the testament It's been nearly 20 years since this movie came out in the cinema. And we can all, off the top of our heads, comment and verbatim quote it. Like, I didn't rewatch The Dark Knight for the show. I can, like, verbatim remember the dialogue. That's pretty crazy, man. It's so quotable. Yes, I agree completely. Begins, The Dark Knight are both great. I do slightly prefer Begins. The score really punctuates the movie for me. Michael Caine, Gary Oldman. Oh man, yeah, the cast is great. Michael Caine as Alfred's great. Morgan Freeman is great in the movies. I like him in the Dark Knight movie. Yeah, no, Gary Oldman, great as Commissioner Gordon. Your Joker impression has a bit. Does it really? I won't even try that, but like, why so serious? I guess there's a little Gilbert in there. I don't know. Maybe that was the Joker we all deserved. The Joker we needed and deserved was Gilbert Godfrey. Could you imagine? Batman, I have this bitch tied up. Michael Caine as Alfred is awesome too. Yes, I thought Gyllenhaal was fine and Katie Holmes was appropriate. See, Katie Holmes is just, to me, when you talk about beautiful, like Katie Holmes is more beautiful. I love the Joker's fearlessness. Yes, there's the great line where when people are going to die, they tell you they show you who they really are, right? In their dying moments. And in his, he gets thrown off the building and he's falling to his death and laughs all the way down. He's showing you that it doesn't, there's no, the lights are on, but there's nobody home anymore. Like, he's just an evil, like I loved how they did that. That was great. They really dehumanized him there. Donnie Darko's a good movie despite Maggie Gyllenhaal. Yeah, and despite Jake Gyllenhaal. I hate the Gyllenhaals. I'm not a Gyllenhaal fan. Speaking of Donnie Darko, R.I.P. Oh, dude, that one hit me so hard because you got to keep in mind, like, Lilo and Stitch, central to the childhood. Spirited Away, essential to this childhood. Donnie Darko, The Ring. I mean, she was in so many movies that I watched as a young film fan. And like, I was always a big fan. I immediately, when I heard she had passed, I immediately pre-ordered tickets to see Spirited Away in October because it's the 25th anniversary. And to honor her memory, I was like, I have to be there for that. Like, that's like, I know it may not sound like much to anybody else, but like, oh my God, that was a celebrity death that shook me up. And also, I guess when you hear it's somebody so young, right? Like, I think she was 35, maybe 34. Like, that's so young, man. Like, to me, it's scary because, like, I'm not in my 30s yet, but it's so scary when you hear someone at that age has passed away. It's like, it reminds you that you're mortal, and it's scary. Like, I don't know, man. I was really disheartened by that. So R.I.P. Absolutely. Really heartbreaking one. Dark Knight Rises, though, I like a lot of third films trilogy, usually recycling Batman. Yeah, Dark Knight Rises is not very good. It's better than Batman Begins to me, but it's not a good movie. There's a tremendous amount of problems with it that I don't even want to go into because it'll be another hour. Miss Devlin, there you go. Anthony knows. You know the good stuff, buddy. I thought Phoenix was good as the Joker, but Ledger takes the cake. Absolutely. There's no, but you will never top that. Like, that's why I would drop ever doing the Joker again. It's because it's been played out so much, like, to the point where it's like, dude, like, again with the Joker? Can we try? It's the same thing with Superman. It's like, again, it's either Luthor or Zod. It's all they'll do. They'll never, like, do Bizarro. Do something, like, somebody else, just for the sake of diversity, variety. Like, just to stop. But they just, nope, Lex Luthor. All right, again, fucking Lex Luthor. Hey, we got Pat in the house. Gotham series had the late Paul Rubens. Or probably, yes, that's right. I made it, absolutely. I'm just trying to go through these a little bit quicker. Yes, yep. People mentioned that. My favorite Batman never even physically played the character. Yes, you're talking about the Batman the anime series. Okay, let's jump off to the next movie though, and jump into the top 5, ladies and gents. We are here at the top 5, the hour 32 mark. So yeah, this is going to be a longer Grande's Graveyard. Just looks like that way. From the year 2004, another movie I saw in the movie theater, and I absolutely loved it. I was glowing when I went out of the theater to see this one. This is The Incredibles. Yes, The Incredibles from 2004. Brief plot synopsis. Bob Parr and his wife Helen Parr are the world's greatest famous crime-fighting superheroes in Metroville, always saving lives and battling evil on a daily basis. But 15 years later, they have been forced to adopt civilian identities and retreat to the suburbs where they have no choice but to retire as superheroes and live a quote-unquote normal life. With their 3 children, Violet, Dash, and Jack Jack, who were born with secret superpowers, itching to get back into action, Bob gets his chance when a mysterious communication summons him to a remote island for his top-secret assignment. He soon discovers that it will take a super family effort to rescue the world from total destruction. Yes, The Incredibles. Now, obviously, I'm a huge Pixar fan. But I don't know if people saw the episode, but a few months, like in January, I think I did top childhood favorites. Or actually, no, it might have been Horror Burnout. That was Horror Burnout in November of 2025. I did top 10 childhood movies. And Toy Story 2 was on the list, and Finding Nemo was on the list, and of course, Monsters Inc. was at the number one slot. Big Pixar fan, and I had seen Monsters Inc., loved it. Following, seen Finding Nemo in the theater in 2003, and right in suit in turn was The Incredibles in 2004. Now, I don't like it as much as Nemo or as much as Monsters Inc., but I do think it's the fifth best superhero movie ever freaking made, and that's saying a lot because there's been some really good movies on tonight's list, but this one is special, and I always joke that this is the best and only Fantastic Four movie to this day. Like, I always sort of think this is the closest we'll ever get to a truly great Fantastic Four movie, and it's not even a Fantastic Four movie. I don't mind the first Jessica Alba, Chris Evans, Michael Chiklis one, the first one. I like that. But if we're talking what the best of the best is right here, it's The Incredibles from writer-director Brad Bird, who had done movies like The Iron Giant, which I've always been a big fan of, and had worked through, the animation files and ranks his entire life. Here you have an age-old story of wanting to relive your glory, right? We open up, as you see, it's the olden days, right? The glory days of Elastigirl and Frozone and Mr. Incredible, and they're fighting crime and things like that. And it's all the opening of the movie, it's their wedding day, but they're still superheroes and have to protect the earth and stuff like that. And we see Mr. Incredible marries Elastigirl, and it fast forwards 15 years down the line. Now they have kids. Now they have these everyday civilian / office / desk jobs that they're very unhappy in. And we see the day in and day out life of Bob Parr, of Mr. Incredible, a man that is unsatisfied in his life. Yeah, he has a beautiful wife and kids. Yeah, he has a job. Yeah, he, has this nice home and things like that. But he misses and yearns being incredible, being a superhero, being what he feels that he was born to be. And now, because superheroes have gone into kind of retreat and hiding, he can't be the Bob Parr that he wants to be. Instead, he kind of has to put on a civilian mask every day and push pencils and things like that. And he's unhappy in doing this. And it isn't until he gets this opportunity from a stranger that wants him to come to this island and fight this giant robot for him. And we learn that it's a trap and things like that. But the whole brilliance of The Incredibles to me is, again, Bob Parr realizing and kind of getting the thing that he's oh so yearned for, to be Mr. Incredible again, right? He meets Edna Mode, who creates the fun new Mr. Incredible outfit for him, and he's put on some weight. They kind of joke that, like, when you get older, you put on some weight, so that's part of the jokes and stuff like that in here. And as he kind of figures out who the villain is, it's none other than really cool for me, because I'm a big fan of this actor. Jason Lee voices Syndrome, who is this guy who wanted to be a sidekick of Mr. Incredible but had no powers, and he tells him to go home one day, like, I work alone, buddy, go away. And it becomes Buddy's mission to become Syndrome and make everyone super, because when everyone's super, no one will be. And that's the whole plan and plot of him, where he wants to kind of erase and eliminate all the people that actually have superheroes in order to make it where if everyone's super, no one will be. There's none of you anymore. You're extinct. I extinguished you because of my ultimate hatred that I couldn't have the powers that you do. And I love him as a villain. Great voice actor, great actor, period. And he kills the role of Syndrome. He's great in it. And obviously, the Helen and the kids and all this stuff, they have to kind of come and help him save the day. And it's through their family bond and teamwork that they have to take down Syndrome and this big robot in the city. And I don't know, like, it's fun. It's clever. It's so, like, well done and well written. The music is exciting. It feels like old school, like 50s, 60s, but then it's like it's very hip to the modern day and the cliches of being a superhero, right? There's the great scene where Sam Jackson voices Frozone. Honey, where's my super suit? I need you to wear your regular suit. I need it now. Like, they're fighting in the hallway. It's like, please, woman, there is a giant robot in the city. I need, I love that the whole battle between him and his wife. And she's like, I'm not telling you where your suit is. He's like, God damn it, woman, it's a matter of life and death. Like, that stuff's great. The whole action sequences in this are really great, right? Because Pixar, let's face it, Pixar changed animation forever. We're not sitting where we are today with CG animation and Pixar Studios, and not just Pixar Studios, but DreamWorks and all of this animation that has become so spectacular, right? And it started, with Toy Story, a movie that changed animation forever. But let's be honest, they didn't have the technology in 1995 that they had even in 2004. And there's a lot of fun action sequences. There's a great scene where they're shooting at Dash, the son who can run super fast. They're shooting at him and he's running through the jungle and stuff. And he turns and all of a sudden he hears water and he's like, oh my God, I'm going to sink. But he's so fast he could run on the water. And that's the great visual of him running on the water as they're trying to shoot him out. Love that scene. I love the sister blocks him. She goes to take the bullet for him and blocks him and creates the ball. And then they're just in this baller running around the forest. And just some of the character work too, where at the end, Mr. Incredible wants to do it alone. I want to relive the glory alone. I want to beat the big bad robot alone. And his wife says, we're not going anywhere. Like, we're in this together. Like, you can think of the individual days of being Mr. Incredible, of being the solo hero, but you have a family now. You have these responsibilities now. You have to be with us, right? We're all in this together, brother. And she kind of goes out with him. And it's just this fun finale where all of them kind of have their hits on the robot in order to destroy it and save the day. And it's really nice. Like I love that line where Mr. Incredible says, I can't lose you again, right? He doesn't want her to fight because he's afraid to lose his wife. And there's something very heartfelt and emotional about it. Voice actors all here did great. Holly Hunter, you have, oh my gosh, I want to get all their names here. Holly Hunter is the one that always met. Craig T. Nelson, his name was escaping me at the minute. Really, really like all of them, man. I think they just did a great job. The Incredibles is an all-time classic to me. And again, when I walked out of the theater, I can remember walking out just being like, that, my God, Pixar doesn't miss. I remember being like, Pixar does not fucking miss when I walked out of the theater of this. And it's great. It's a great movie. There's so much to it. It truly is, and no pun intended, it's incredible. It's an incredible movie. The Incredibles is incredible, and I don't care who knows it. Wow, tons of comments. Bane and Rises sound like Sean Connery. That's just Sean Connery. Batman. Oh, Batman. Greetings, Kubrick. People saying hi. Ooh, Incredibles. Da-da-da-da-da. The Incredibles is so rewatchable. Absolutely, man. It's been over 20 years. You know what's funny, too? They finally did the sequel. And I saw the sequel in the movie theater. But I've never had the urge to rewatch it. It wasn't necessarily bad. It was just forgettable. It wasn't anything to ever rewatch. It was just like, all right, like that. It just didn't work. It didn't. I don't know. To me, you never should have made a sequel. It was perfect the way it was. I don't know how many people would play this, but the video game, they did a sequel. It was before the Incredibles 2 came out. They made a sequel video game. It was called The Incredibles: Rise of the Underminer. And it was a PS2 multiplayer game where you could just be Mr. Incredible or Frozone. You could switch back and forth. And the entire game was chasing to get to the Underminer. It was all underground, and you don't get to play as any of the other Incredibles. It was such a weird game. But that, to me, forever was the only... I was like, this is like the fan fiction sequel. And then they actually made the sequel, and after all that time, the Underminer got away. God damn it. I don't know, really funny. Never seen it. You really don't have to. And I'm not trying to say, oh, it's monkey shit, and it's not. It was a fine film. There was nothing inherently bad in it. But the problem is there was nothing inherently good in it either. Like that, it's almost sometimes worse to be mediocre than it is to be fucking terrible. Because fucking terrible, at least I would remember everything. I could give you shit. I couldn't really give you much. I remember she's the lead in it. And she goes on. It's basically he plays Father Knows Best. That was most of the movie. And I don't remember the villain. I don't remember. It just didn't work. It didn't. I seen a movie in the movie theater 8 years ago. Don't remember the movie. It just didn't work. Never gets tiresome. It's weird. That sequel's weird. You almost caught me monologuing. I love that. That's a great line. Damn, you dog. You almost caught me monologuing. I love that. Honey, where's my super suit? You need Yeah, I love that. My number 6 movie is Unbreakable. Had a guy at work mention that one earlier in the week. Unbreakable's a great movie. You tell me where my suit's now, woman. We're talking about the greater good. I am your greater good. No capes. No capes, right? Oh my God, I almost forgot about that. There's the whole sequence where all these superheroes with their capes get sucked into a vortex or jet engine. Like that joke is great. Have some interesting visual parts, which recycles one with just using Mrs. Incredible instead of Mr. Incredible. Understood. Okay, yeah, I don't remember it. I seen it. I never ever rewatch. It's not worth my time. Holly Hunter's great. I like the new Fan 4 movie. It was safe but good. Yeah, I have a friend that he called it Fantastic Bore. I know that. Like, I didn't think that, but it was like upon like thinking about it more, it didn't like it worked when I was there. And then like it didn't after I thought about it, I was like, I would never rewatch that. Like never. Like I don't know. It's in Incredibles too. It wasn't necessarily bad, but it wasn't. You need to be more flexible, right? Yeah. Zoinks. Edna number 1. Edna Mode. Oh my God. Edna Mode is great. That is great. I'm a new superhero. I'm Syndrome. Jessica Alba was on a series called Dark Angel. Oh, dude. We all love Jessica Alba. She's also in Idle Hands. It's got some great humor, The Incredibles. Speaking of superhero stuff, Grande, you should watch Invincible. Invincible is on Prime, right? I've seen episodes of that. It's tremendous with the gore. I've only seen select episodes, so I've never been able to follow like the story of it. But I would have to start from the beginning. But I have liked what I've seen. The visual palette of it's incredible. Okay, let's go through these a little bit faster here. All right, a lot of comments. I'm going to try to go through these. Yeah, let's get to the next one if that's all right. Let's go to the next movie because we're running here. And all right, final 4 here. And I think I own all these 4. Yeah, I think so. Actually, no, I own 3 of the 4. So the next one. Okay, let me just go here. One of these tabs closed on me. What the fuck? Okay, here it is. Okay, coming in at number 4. And a movie that, again, another one, saw it in the theater with my grandmother. So I don't know. I don't know if this was a top 10 superhero movies or top 10 just most nostalgic superhero movies. I don't know, but I do think this is one of the best ever for what it's worth. And it's from the year 2002, starring Tobey Maguire. And I know some have called him Tobey McCryer, but I do love me some Tobey. It is directed by Sam Raimi. It is Spider-Man from the year 2002, and brief plot synopsis, even though I thought my tab was closed out. A shy teenage boy named Peter Parker is bitten by a genetically modified spider and uses his new spider-like abilities to fight injustice as a masked superhero. Yes, Spider-Man. You gotta also understand how important this movie was for me when I saw it at the age of, I saw this at 5 years old in an empty movie theater. It was so deep into its run. And I went with my grandmother, and I remember there was another elderly couple in there, and I went to see Spider-Man with my grandmother. And I was like, when it ended, I thought I was Spider-Man. Like I was like so excited. It was like amazing. It's an amazing, like, I will never forget that as long as I live. I remember the couple, they were like, look at this kid go. I was like, this is the greatest, and this is long before I knew who Sam Raimi was. This is long before I knew what Evil Dead was or things like that, right? This is a 5-year-old kid. I didn't know anything about anything. I just had a promise not to eat paste, really. That was really the only, prerequisite I needed to enter a movie theater or move up to kindergarten at that time. But Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man, all jokes aside, is a tremendous movie. And I think that it has to be on this list. Like, to me, the champion, the reason it's so great is Tobey Maguire. And I know a lot of people hate him. A lot of people say he's not good. They especially rag on the third film and bully Maguire and that stuff. Like, that's fine if you feel that way. And like, I can totally hear you if you don't like him as an actor and stuff like that. I think he's great. I think he's born to play Peter Parker. I think he's born to be Spider-Man. And like, the age-old story of, this kid going on a field trip. He's this nerd. He's taking pictures for the school paper. He gets bit by the radioactive spider and becomes Spider-Man, right? And I liked how Raimi, again, added some body horror to it, right? Instead of the web cartridges, like which was in the comics and which was in the animated series, they had the web actually come out of him. They had the kind of grip come out of his hand so he could climb the walls, and you see it kind of come out of his pores as he climbs the walls. I thought that was amazing as a kid. And the whole like camera work from Sam Raimi, who again was the master of camera work, still is, we still love Sam Raimi, but the master of camera work to take me through New York City, to swing from building to building. Like, I know it doesn't sound like much now in the world we live in now, and the achievements that we have been able to achieve from a cinematic standpoint and from camera angle standpoint. That was amazing, no pun intended. The Amazing Spider-Man, spectacular, whatever Spider-Man cliche you want to use. That was amazing to see. It was him swinging from building to building and jumping down and leaping down, and the fight sequences and things like that. Like, I was absolutely exhilarated by all that stuff. Just the technical was off the charts. And then you have the great Willem Dafoe, a great independent film actor, to step out of that world and into a big box office superhero one and play Norman Osborn, play the Green Goblin, right? The old Jekyll and Hyde type of thing. Tell me how. First, we attack his heart. The whole Jekyll and Hyde thing he has, where he's bleeding, he's pouring his heart out to this chair where he puts the mask on it. Like, that stuff is all great. And Dafoe, I know people have said is over the top in the film, and I know people have said, "Oh, Goblin, it's sort of like trying to be like the Joe." I don't see any of that or agree with any of that. I know there's some people that have their opinions on it, but like, his intensity as an actor and as this character is scary. The whole scene where they're telling him, "We're going to announce we're selling Oscorp after the parade," right? He goes, "You know how much I sacrificed," right? Where he just screams out, and he's just like, "You know what I did," right? He screams at them. Like, that's really scary when he delivers that line, and he's quivering and he's shaking, and they're like, "Norman, please, we know this is not easy news to get," and things like that. And he's like, "You're out, Norman." "Out, am I?" And then later he throws the bomb and blows them or disintegrates them. Really good stuff. I like the parade fight, right, where they're bouncing on the parade floats and fighting on the glider. "We'll meet again, Spider-Man." Great stuff. And it's you that's out, Gabi, out of your mind. I love some of the one-liners. They're hokey, but I love them. And the whole "let's offer you friendship" thing, which I always really liked that too. And that may have been a precursor to something that The Dark Knight touches on, where Goblin confronts Spider-Man on the roof. And he says, there's all these millions and millions of people in this city. And, at first they love you, but after a while they will hate you. Eventually they will hate you. And I want you to join me. I want you to take over with me and all that stuff. And like, I love how he kind of offers him that. And then later he throws in his face, I offered you friendship, and you spat in my face, and just beats the hell out of him. Holy shit. Like that. All that stuff is so emotionally driven. It's really, really good. That fight at the end between the two of them in the abandoned church. Like, I love that. And like, again, all the side characters really good. You have, again, I know, controversial guy, James Franco as Harry. I thought he did a good job. The best is J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson. Like, there's never been a comic character that was better portrayed in a movie than him as J. Jonah Jameson. Like, it's amazing. Miss Brandt, yes. Put the story on page 2. Like, just great. I love him as J. Jonah Jameson. Like, don't you trust anybody? I trust my barber. Like, it's just the comedic, the timing of it is great. Like, J. Jonah Jameson, J.K. Simmons as that character is iconic. It's like, you can't really deny how great he is in that. The whole thing with Uncle Ben and Cliff Robertson, with great power comes great responsibility. The origin stuff, it's all well done. Granted, it's like, I've seen it so many times at this point. Like, I'm good with the origin. Like, that's one part of this movie where I'm like, all right, like, come on. But I guess at the time, you had to. This was the first real Spider-Man movie. I know there was one in the 70s, but I don't really count that one. You have that whole scene. And I see Mateo mentions the Macho Man, who the bone soul is ready. The history beckons them. Bruce Campbell is the announcer, right? The Amazing Spider-Man. Like, man, so fun. To throw some wrestling in there was kind of cool for me. I don't know. Also, the upside down kiss, that's iconic. Like, I don't like the character of Mary Jane, especially in these movies. Like, she's quite insufferable, especially by the time you get to the third one. Mary Jane, it's like, oh my God, like, all right, enough. Like, I don't want to listen to Mary Jane anymore. But she's good here as the girl next door he's in love with and stuff like that, and is trying to pursue acting and shit like that. Like, I don't know, I like her a lot too. And the lady played Aunt May, Rosemary Harris, she's really good. Like, I don't know, there's something about the first Spider-Man movie that I think it elevates itself into one of the best ever. And it was To me, the fact that this is number 4 is crazy. Like, I love this movie, and it's only number 4. Like, this could easily be number 1. I could try to argue for it, but like, I don't know. It just falls here at number 4. I love this movie. Great stuff. I really have no complaints. It's a tremendous, tremendous movie. Let's see. Where the heck were we? Craig T. Nelson was the bad guy in Action Jackson. That's right. R.I.P. Vanity. And Carl Weathers. Jesus Christ. That's sad. For some reason it dawned on me they're both gone. I gave away my copy of The Incredibles 2 to my cousin. Yeah, that's how much you thought of it. Blank Man should be upcoming. Dude, that is so funny. Somebody said that earlier. Ben Grimm, that is so funny, man. I hope all is well, man. Spider-Man 1/2. Chris, I didn't say anything of that sort. I didn't say that. There's still 3 more spots, Christopher. This first Spidey trilogy is great, but Spawn and Blade paved the way for Spidey. Interesting. I never looked at it that way. I mean, I love Blade 1 and Blade 2. Blade Trinity sucks. Spawn is a piece of shit, in my opinion. I don't know where you get that for paving the way of the Spider-Man trilogy. I think that this is a great, I know, again, very unpopular. I don't hate the third one. It's the same thing with X-Men 3. I don't hate the third one. I think it's a step down. It's inferior, but it's not. I don't hate it with, oh my God, it's the worst Spider-Man movie. Fuck it. Like, I don't see that. Like that. I don't see the utmost hate in it like some people do. That's just me though. I was climbing the walls as a kid, dude. I remember getting the web shooters. It was silly string. They attached silly string, and it was a gadget. You hooked it in, and then you pressed the button, and it would shoot out, look like you had webs. All the action figures, the magnetic Spider-Man that could climb your fridge. I had all the villains. I was the biggest Spider-Man fanatic that there was, man. I just fell in love with it. Speaking of the, Spider-Man, my number 5 superhero is Darkman, another Sam Raimi movie. And I know that I know Tom mentioned that one. Spider-Man is probably the most popular superhero of all time. Yeah, and I can see why. Like, Spider-Man's of solo heroes, Spider-Man's my guy. Like, I always love the villains. Like, that's what kills me about the Tom. Like, I can't be with this Tom Holland shit. I just hate him so much. I can't even. That's one guy I'm just blinded. I'm like, dude, this guy sucks. Like, what do people see in this guy? Amazing Spider-Man 2 with Andrew Garfield was sort of good. Andrew Garfield's really good, and Emma Stone is really good. That's about the end of the really goods with the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Although Jamie Foxx did a really good job in that No Way Home movie. It's a shame they didn't do that the first time when they had him for Armed Rivalry. Love Spidey 3. Defoe is great as the Goblin. Absolutely, dude. He's just MJ and I. Ching, we're gonna have a hell of a time. Like, he's electric in this. I love the scene where Spider-Man at the end, he's trying to shoot the webs to stop him, to slow the momentum of the Goblin. And he's so strong, he rips that down. Like, holy shit. That's scary. There's some scary shit in this. Like, when he turns into the Goblin, that's a scary scene. I really like how that scene is done, where it looks like he's dead, and then he grabs this guy and just throws him through the glass. Like, holy shit, man, that's crazy. Used to watch the Spider-Man show in the 70s and early 80s. Godspeed, Spider-Man. Be a son to me now. I had a father. His name was Ben Parker. So good. Let's see. Let's go through these a little quicker. Thanksgiving dinner scene was so good. Yes, it was. I love that. All women are the same. Do what you need with her and burn her fast. Like, what a heartless bastard. Everybody heard that creep. Like, a bike messenger ran me down. The tension in that, where he's bleeding through the shirt. And that's when Defoe realizes, oh my God, this motherfucker's Spider-Man, and he has to keep it. How did you say that happened? And he's looked like motherfucker. Like, the tension in that scene is so well done. Like, I really, really love that scene as well. That's a great call. I don't care much one way or other about the Tobey Maguire, but I think he's a great Spider-Man. If memory serves me, Macho Man Bonesaw McGraw. All right, Bonesaw is ready. Let's see. Go through these a little bit. She's the worst MJ. I mean, I don't mind her in this or the second movie. I cannot stand her in the third movie. Like, she is so unlikable in the third movie, where I would have been like, all right, bitch, we're done. Like, that's it. Bye. See ya. Bye. Bye, MJ. My favorite Spider-Man movie, Into the Spider-Verse. Great pick. I love Into the Spider-Verse. Dallas Bryce Howard. You mean Bryce Dallas Howard? Should have been Mary Jane. What's funny is, yeah, she should have been Mary Jane, but they had her dye her hair blonde to be Gwen Stacy. And then they had Mary Jane, Kristen Dunst, who's a natural blonde, dye her hair redhead to play Mary Jane. It's so weird. But yeah, no, they dropped the ball with Bryce Dallas Howard as Gwen Stacy. She was just basically just there to be like, oh, that's Gwen Stacy, but she wasn't really playing the character of Gwen Stacy. She was just there like, hey, I'm blonde, I have yits. Like, hi, I'm plot convenience. Hello. Like, that's all they fucking did. Emma Stone, that's Gwen Stacy. Like, she's the best love interest in any of the Spider-Man movies. It's like, I almost wish I could make I wish I could take Emma Stone and put her as Gwen Stacy in the Raimi Spider-Man movies. Like, that to me would improve a lot of things. Me Too. Oh, people talking. But Paul Triple H Levesque is in Blade Trinity. Wow, yeah, that's how you know it's a real fucking winner. You know what I'm going to do, Arthur? After the show tonight, I'm going to do a double feature of Blade Trinity and The Chaperone, and I think it's just going to be the greatest thing of all time. Andrew Garfield will always be my favorite Spider-Man. I love Andrew Garfield. He's the best actor of those three guys, right? If you're saying Holland, Garfield, Toby, Garfield is the best act. Like, if I'm a casting producer, I want Garfield. He's the most diverse. He could do the most. He's the most ranged. Like, he's really good. Toby, I think, is the best for this role. Like, Toby just nails this role. And then Tom Holland, I think, is a fucking piece of shit. Not personally, but he sucks. Blade and Spawn did really with the box office show there was an audience for superheroes. Okay, interesting argument. I think you're reaching. I talk about Elastigirl reaching. Andrew is also my favorite Spider-Man. Okay, I've got a ton of love for Andrew Garfield. Toby's classic. The Amazing Spider-Man just got it right. Yeah, no, hey, listen, I could totally hear that. I think he's a tremendous actor for sure. I love that stuff. It's not letting me fucking drag this. Hold on. Blade 3 was god awful, yeah, but it had Triple H in it. Is that the argument? Like, where's Heather? Where's the actual Triple H? Like, you know what? We just cast her in something that's good. Whatever he stuck his finger in during the Thanksgiving scene looked delicious. Goddamn, Aunt May cooking. I love where he breaks through. She's doing the prayer at the night, and he crashes through and he's like, "Finish it!" He's yelling at her to finish the prayer. First, we attack his heart. Pomeranian acted better than Triple H. Oh, man. Oh, my God, The Chaperone. Remember that fucking shitty movie, The Big Show? Knucklehead, that's right. The Amazing movies had the worst villains of all Spiderdom. Yeah, I mean, the Lizard, the guy playing the Lizard sucked. Like Reese Ifans. Holy shit. Have you watched the special from 2006? It has Michael Rappaport in it. No, I haven't. I never even heard of that. If you want to let me know if that's streaming anywhere or if it's cheap on DVD, let me know. But we're going to move it to number 3. 2 hours in, we got to number 3. Sorry, this has been a longer show, folks. But my goodness, this was the first. There's no doubt in my mind if there was a first superhero movie I ever watched, it was this one. I watched it with my Uncle Richie. I remember renting this one at a Hollywood Video and being absolute fucking blown away by this movie. From the year 1980, Christopher Reeve stars in Superman 2. Yes, Superman 2 from 1980. And yes, my friends, as always, a brief plot synopsis. Superman agrees to sacrifice his powers to start a relationship with Lois Lane, unaware that 3 Kryptonian criminals he inadvertently released are conquering the Earth. Man, this is like, to me, this is asked to be the consideration for the best superhero movie ever made. Now, I like the original. I like Superman the movie. I don't even hate Superman. I guess this is the night of not hating part 3s. I don't hate Superman 3. I don't think so. It's not good. It's a step down. It has a lot of problems, but I never hated that movie either. I always liked the Lana Lane character and Annette O'Toole, who she loved Clark Kent, whereas Lois Lane, you could tell she loved Superman. And I always thought that kind of hurt Lois Lane's character, whereas Lois Lane's character, whereas Lana Lang, she loved Clark Kent. Like, that's who she loved, the farm boy. I always liked that aspect of Superman 3. So that's neither here nor there, I guess, because Superman 2 is another perfect movie. I mean, holy shit. So we follow the endearing, the charming, the late great, may he rest in peace till we all get there. It's Christopher Reeve as Superman, who was born to play that character. Christopher Reeve has a charm and an endearment that we will never be able to see again or recaptured as any other actor playing that role. Like, we've seen actors try. I mentioned Brandon Routh. I mentioned David Corenswet. I mentioned even the guy from Smallville. What the fuck was his name? I can't think of his damn name. It's on the tip of my tongue. Tom something. Tom. Oh, what was his name? I can't think of his name. Tom something. Tom Welling. Tom Welling. That's it. Nobody commented it. I got it. Tom Welling. And then Henry Cavill. We've seen a bunch of people play Superman. And they all have their unique spin on it, their unique take on it, their acting abilities shown. Like, that is fine for being what it is. That's fine. You will never recapture what Christopher Reeve did as his character. Like, he is incredible. Just the charm, the charisma, the elevator's falling, it's plummeting to the ground, and he picks up the elevator and like kind of stops it and looks at Lois Lane and goes, Miss Lane, I believe this is your floor. Like, just the little things like that make him great. Like, I love that. The little, like, the hello, like, just the way he charms you is tremendous. Like, I love Christopher Lee as his character. And in this, he faces the conflict that I think should be in so many more superhero movies. Now, there is another superhero movie that is above this that did tackle the same exact plot line. What happens when the superhero doesn't want to be super anymore? We touched on The Incredibles, where you have a superhero that's forced to be a civilian. This is a superhero that wants to now be that Clark Kent, that wants to be the civilian because of his undying love for Lois Lane, right? He wants to be human. He wants to be with her. He wants to pursue her as a serious relationship. And that's the conflict he faces in this movie, right? He's trying to impress her as Clark Kent, and she looks right through him as if she was the one with X-ray vision. She loves Superman. And there's the scene where, I'm so sure you're Superman, I'm going to throw myself in this water and you're going to save me. You're going to fly in to save me. She does it, and he goes in as Clark Kent to try to not blow the cover. And she's like, unbelievable. I've never made such a fool of myself. But one thing leads to another, and she finds out that he is Superman, and he kind of gives up his powers. And then meanwhile, we have Terrence Stamp leading as General Zod, as these three Kryptonians that have escaped this pane of glass, which I always thought was classic. They're trapped in the glass. It shatters after Superman throws this bomb in outer space. And the way they establish their heels is great. Like, they just have them fuck around, destroy towns, beat people up. Just like, there's the great scene, they go into this like saloon, and this guy is arm wrestling people, and the female Kryptonian comes in, she sits down, and she's like, wanted to go, and he goes, and she slams his arm, the table breaks, the guy flips over. Like, that every time makes me cry laughing. The scene where they take the gun, like, the guy has the shotgun in his face, he takes the gun, just points it down, and they lift up the car. Like, they make a mockery out of society, and they're aliens, so they don't really understand humanity or the human way. And I love how they really dehumanize them and just make them just these really despicable evil heels. And then it's up to Superman to kind of get his groove back and his super back and fight them. And you have a great third act fight in Metropolis, which it's one of my favorite action sequences of all time. Probably number 2. It's my second favorite action sequence in any movie, is the fight in Metropolis. I know some people have said it hasn't aged well. It was 1980. I think it's aged like wine. I think it's incredible. I love where they take this thing and they throw it down, and Superman catches it before it reaches the ground, and Zod kind of needs over, and he goes, he really cares about these people. Like, what a like, they can't understand why he does good. They can't understand why he has emotions and feelings and has become part human, right? They can't understand that because they're all alien. The guy throws him through a Marlboro truck, and then Superman gets out, grabs him by hand and leg, and just twirls, does this like swing, and throws him like 20 yards into this fucking Coca-Cola sign that explodes. Like, I remember when I saw that as a kid, I was like, holy shit! You know, I was running around like a fucking chicken with his head cut off. Like, that, to this day, was just incredible to see. Like, holy shit, man. What a crazy good action sequence that was in Metropolis at the end. I just love it. And, like, I don't know, there's something that is so endearing about Christopher Reeve, and I do think this is the best Superman movie featuring him. I like the first one, don't get me wrong. The second one has always been where it's at, and I love this poster. Like, that poster, I had the DVD for the longest time. I actually think I gave it to my uncle, right? Because this was a movie that, like, I bonded with him over. And, like, that cover is great. Superman going head first into the three Kryptonians, like a big, like, war is about to happen. That's a one sheet I have to get one of these days. I'd love to get that one sheet, man, because, I don't know, it's just a classic image to me in the history of superhero films. And then, I don't know, there's something about it. Like, Margot Kidder as Lois Lane, great. All the supporting roles. Gene Hackman returns as Lex Luthor. It's not as grand of a role in this, although, obviously Lex Luthor's always got his hands and stuff. But I don't know, there's something about Superman 2 that I always have really loved. I think it's one of the best superhero movies ever freaking made. I love Superman 2, number 3 for sure. Let's see where we were. Nicholas Hammond was my favorite Spider-Man. Okay. Don't apologize. This has been fun. I'm happy everyone's having fun. Thank you. I think it's been free to watch on Tubi on YouTube. It's my second favorite superhero film. It's so good. Wow. Okay, Mac's always going to come out with some good heavy hitters. So I'm going to have to look into that, man. Powerpuff Girls. That's really teasing my age. However, I did see the Powerpuff Girls movie in the theater. I want to say 2002, 2004, maybe. Somewhere in that ballpark. What up, Brian? People saying hi. Yeah, Terrence Stamp was great as Zod with the woman and the big tall guy. But the original is the best for me. Yeah, most people when I ever say Superman 2, they always are like, no way, Superman 1. And like, I like the first Superman a lot. It's a really good movie. But like, to me, this one the action is so fucking much better. Like it's like a night. It feels like, even though it was 2 years that had passed, it felt like 20 years had passed as far as technology. Like, I love the fight sequences in this. And I love the heels. I think it's just a perfectly done movie. I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to bring that up. But Richard Donner did shoot some scenes for this film. In fact, he shot enough of this film that they released the Donner cut. You could watch the Donner cut. Very unpopular opinion. I don't like the Donner cut. I like the theatrical cut. The Richard Lester cut is the cut of this movie to watch. Now, I know there are certain sequences in there that were directed by Richard Donner, and they're fantastically done. However, Richard Lester did a great job with the rest of this movie. Like, I don't get me wrong, Donner's the better filmmaker, and what they did to Donner was wrong. Basically, the producers fired him. They didn't like what he had to say and his direction and things like that. But like, to me, the Donner cut makes mistakes. Like, I hate the idea that they add Brando over Superman's mom. Like, the whole point of the first Superman was, okay, it's the scene with Brando. Then this one should have been Superman's mom. Like, and I love that scene in the Richard Lester cut, but they don't have it in the Donner cut. It's all Brando. And I'm like, I get it. You went with Brando because it's Brando and because of his reputation, but fuck that. Like, from the vein of storytelling, it should have been the mom. Like, I know that sounds like nothing to some people, but like, that's everything to me. Like, that should have been the mom. Superman 3 is pretty fun. I don't hate it. It's not that bad. It's granted, X-Men 3 and Spider-Man 3 are better, but it's not that bad. It's better than Superman 4, The Quest for Shit, faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Yes. Superman 2, nice. Curious to hear your thoughts on the Donner cut. Yeah, I'm very unpopular opinion. I know that's like unpopular say, because once that came out, everybody was like, oh, this is the real Superman 2. Fuck the old Superman 2. I remember being like, dude, fuck you. The old Superman 2 is great. And then I saw the Donner cut thinking, this could be improved. You could add more scenes to this that are going to be amazing, and it just doesn't. I don't like that cut of the film. Like, I don't own the film specifically because I think most of the Blu-ray cuts I don't know if the theatrical movie is on like 4K or anything like that. Maybe somebody can tell me that. I don't know. I've never really looked into it, but like, if the theatrical cut's on 4K, I'll pre-order it tonight. But I hate it's the Donner cut. I'm like, fuck you. That's not the cut I like. Like, that's not the better cut of the movie to me. Superman 4 is the worst superhero movie ever. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue. I don't know if it's my personal worst. Like, I think Halle Berry Catwoman is the worst. That might be the worst superhero movie ever made for me. But Superman 4 is fucking horrible too. Poor Cannon picture. Poor Cannon. Her Clark Kent retired to open a squid restaurant. Yes, this is a call back to the Tales from the Crypt episode. There's a special Donner cut, Superman 2, that was released later. Well said, Grande. I don't know what part was well said. Was it me when I was trying to figure out Tom Welling? I was fucking, I'm like, Tom, I was trying to picture that. What about Reb Brown as Captain America? I don't know. I'm not as familiar with that. Man, forgot Dean Cain again. I'm just not a Dean Cain guy. Love the huge Canadian flag in this movie. Great pick. Yeah, I love this movie. I don't know. Like I guess maybe because I have like two standout movies with my uncle that I would say like that's the movie I synonymous. It's this and a movie called The Protector, which is it's a great revenge film. It's this guy who raises this pet elephant, and this terrible organization steals his elephant, and then the rest of the movie, it's like 2 hours of nonstop action where this guy is just murdering people to get his elephant back. And it's amazing movie. It came out right around like 2005, I think. Great movie. Like, I would love, if I ever had him on the show, I would love to review that with him. Oh, yeah, was this the one film in Niagara Falls? Yes, it was. My top 4 superhero movie is The Crow. It is such a very great dark movie. It's mostly a revenge movie. I love the scene where Eric enters the pawn shop and makes a reference to the Raven. Well, R.I.P. Brandon Lee. The thing about 4 was that Golan and Globus made it through their company, Canon, which was incredibly prolific with making the cheap films. Yeah, and listen, they had no budget. Like, this movie had $50 million. I think Superman 4 had like under 20. I think it was like, I want to say $15 to $17 million, somewhere in that ballpark, if memory serves. Their films made. Oh man, The Crow is incredible. Yeah, The Crow is great. I don't consider it a superhero either. That's a thing. Like, I feel like a lot of that's reaching. I'm referring to The Crow from '94. No, I know what you're referring to. It can't rain all the time. Kneel before Zod. I saw Superman 2 when I was either 9 or 10 in the theater. Dude, you saw us in the theater. See, that's the thing that makes me so jealous. Like, I was born in the wrong era. Like, I would trade seeing some of the shit I saw in the theater as a kid, like Batman Begins, with Superman 2. Give me Superman 2 in the theater. Like, I hope to God that eventually happens, that I get to see this in the movie theater, because I think that's the only thing that can make it better. However, the problem is they will probably show the Donner cut, and I won't want to go. Like, that, I know I'm petty, but like, I just don't. I don't like that cut of the movie. Like, I'm so weird. The first Superman, when I was little, my grandparents act I would never see Superman fly because I'd have to go to bed at a certain time. Okay, it didn't age well. You could see they're on a sound stage. Oh, see, I disagree with that. I mean, can you see they're on a sound? Yes, but it ages well. I still think it's pretty incredible. Like, I still think that fucking Metropolis fight is so good, right? Where the people, I love the people are trying to fight them. They're like, fuck you. And the people start coming forward, and they use the super breath to push them back. And they're all, oh, my hair, my wig. Like, I love this. The super breath was great. That's fun. And 2 where Zod and the 2 throwing Superman around the Metropolis fight. Dude, the best. Like, I love that. Christopher Reeve nails the part of selfless hero well, which is Superman defined. Yes, Reeve is Superman to me. There's no doubt. Like, there's no doubt. Again, all respect to all the other actors, Dean Cain included. Just not. It's just you can't recapture it. You can't. I watched Superman 78 for the first time last year. I think I need to see the sequels here soon. Yeah, no, I liked 2 the best. I know Christopher Reeve liked part 2 the best, so that always kind of made me feel a little bit more validated. But most people like the original one the best. Donner made Superman 1 and 2 back to back when they replaced Richard Lester to finish the second one. Right. We need Superman 80s Snyder's cut. Oh God, let's not do that. Quotes from the end of Superman. Amy Adams, the best Lois Lane? No goddamn way. Margot Kidder for president. May she rest in peace, too. We were robbed of Nick Cage's Superman. We could dream, right? We could dream. I'm sure Ben Grimm has had wonderful fantasies about a large, Thangarian snare beast in the finale that Superman fights, and maybe Brainiac fights a polar bear in the Fortress of Solitude. If you don't know what I'm referring to, look up the Kevin Smith Evening with Kevin Smith talking about the death of Superman Lives. That is one of the funniest 20-minute clips you'll ever watch. It's just him talking about how that movie fell through. It's, oh my God, it's great. But just like Superman 2, man, Superman 2 is fucking great. Top two. What is the bubble boy for number 1? And we may have just talked about the original movie at number 4. From the year 2004, Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 from 2004. Brief plot synopsis. Peter Parker is beset with troubles in his failing personal life as he battles a former brilliant scientist known as Otto Octavius, who has now become Dr. Octopus. Yes, Spider-Man 2. It's so close between this and number 1. Like, it's so, I could really say this is number 1. And that, like, I for sole nostalgic purposes, I go with number 1 over number 2. But you can make an argument this is the greatest superhero movie ever made. And I stand by it. I think it's great. And again, another one I remember seeing in the theater, fall in love with it, thinking it was one of the best things I'd ever seen. To me, there's so much more to this one than the first. Like, I love the first. I think the first is a great movie. I think the first movie holds up great. I think this one has always been better, though. I love the character work. Again, similar theme of Superman 2, Spider-Man 2. What happens when Spider-Man doesn't want to be Spider-Man anymore, right? He can't catch his girlfriend's plays. He can't catch Mary Jane's plays. His best friend hates him because he's, linked to Spider-Man. He doesn't know in this movie in the beginning that he is Spider-Man, but he thinks that he's just the photographer and knows him. And after what happened to Harry Osborn's father, he hates Spider-Man and wants to make him pay. And then we follow, Peter Parker in his day in, day out life, right? He gets fired from the pizza job. He's, failing out of school, even though he's the smartest kid in the class. Brilliant, but lazy. That he gets this once in a lifetime opportunity to write a paper about Dr. Otto Octavius, who is getting ready to do this amazing experiment where he can show the power of the sun in the palm of his hands, right? And he gets this tritium and he wants to do this big experiment for all of New York City to see. And he meets him, has a nice dinner with his wife, and they kind of bond and make a friendship and stuff like that. And it all kind of leads up to Dr. Octavius doing this experiment, which is his dream. And we watch as this experiment is set up, and everybody is excited, and everybody's smiling, and everybody's kind of like really thinking they're about to see something oh so great. And what happens is it all goes to hell, right? The machine becomes a ginormous magnet. These metal objects start getting ripped into the center of this thing, and in a matter of seconds this man loses his practice, he loses the love of his life, and he loses his dream, which was to create this entire display. And it all comes crumbling down in him alongside with his own building, and everybody kind of gets out of there alive except for his wife. And he is left with these 4 mechanical arms that are surgically kind of inserted into his back that he can move, and he has this chip where he controls them, but the chip breaks in the experiment, and now the arms are controlling him. And I love the character work, and I love the villain. I love Alfred Molina, the actor. Always really liked him, And it's funny enough, the first thing I saw Alfred Molina in would have been Species. Species was the first time. He's the one. He's the lucky man that gets to sleep with Syl the alien and get her pregnant. So shout out to Alfred Molina. But he's in a lot better movies than Species. But that's the one that comes to mind. So it is what it is. You got to keep in mind the era on board. But he's great here. He's so good as Dr. Octavius because, again, you see a man that turns to evil, but at the same time, you could see why. He's lost it all. He's lost it all within a matter of seconds, right? It was his wife. It was his practice. It was his dream. And, he tells Peter earlier in the movie that sometimes we have to, put certain things aside, and then we have to, put these things ahead. And then when he does that and it all comes crumbling down, he says that I should be dead and I should be in the river buried with my wife. Like I shouldn't have made it. And then he decides to turn to crime because he wants to recreate the experiment. Like, I will relive this. I will get to live my dream. I don't care if it causes a death or crime or sorrow for anyone that gets in my way. But I'm going to do this. And the way Raimi directs this, that hospital scene where the arms murder the entire staff of that hospital, that is one of the most terrifying scenes you'll ever see in a non-horror movie. Like, I have a hard time watching that to this day. It's really scary. And I like how the cameras are done where each arm has a camera to it, and he mutilates all these people in the hospital. And then that fun bank sequence, right, where here's your change, and the whole fight in there, and he can't spin the webs, and he throws the thing at him, and then the whole, you're gonna have this woman's death on your conscience, and Spider-Man kind of catapults into it, and Aunt May hits him, and that's a fun sequence. I really enjoy all of that. And then it kind of all leads up to Spider-Man losing his powers, right? He doesn't want to do it anymore, doesn't want to be the spectacular, the amazing Spider-Man anymore. He doesn't want to do it. He wants to just live a normal life and be himself and, enjoy himself. And there's the great sequence where raindrops keep falling on my head, where he's just not superhero anymore. He sees the cop cars go by and he bites a hot dog. Like, I don't have to worry about that shit anymore. That's not my problem anymore, right? I've been treated with no respect, and I moved away from it. It even gets to the point where J. Jonah Jameson himself is nostalgic for Spider-Man, and he misses Spider-Man. He's like, I drove him away. He even gets into a depression about it. I love how all that's done. He's like, oh man, I can't do this. And then what happens is, he basically has this encounter with Mary Jane, and James Franco says to Alfred Molina, listen, Parker can find you Spider-Man. And he busts into the coffee shop as Peter's about to open up to her. And he says, listen, I'm taking Mary Jane with me, and I'll peel the flesh from her bones. If you don't have Spider-Man, meet me at the clock at 3:00. And he's just like, I don't know where he is. And he's like, well, you better find him. And, he has to nut up or shut up and put the suit on, get the powers, and go fight Doc Ock. And man, that entire battle is great. The fight sequence on the train is my number one favorite fight scene in any movie. Like, I love that fight. I love that train sequence, right? Where Spider-Man's swinging in and you see the reflection of Spider-Man and Doc Ock shades, and he kind of swings to the top and where is she? Let's fight. Come on. And they start fighting, and they fall all the way down to the train, and Spider-Man has to do all these acrobatic moves to try to avoid Doc Ock. And then Doc Ock wins, right? He pushes the train, and Spider-Man has to stop it, and your heart's beating out of your chest like, holy shit, this is amazing. He stops the train, but it takes all of his strength and might and stuff. And then Doc Ock goes to retrieve his reward, and all the New Yorkers stand up to him. It's including Joey Diaz. You want to go through him? You got to go through me. Fucking Joey Diaz. Like, all you need is 3 motherfuckers. You can take over a country. Love that Joey Diaz is randomly in there, man. But all these people, they stand up to him very well. Just moves them out of the way with the arms and takes him. And he's going to recreate his experiment. And then it's up to Spider-Man to go in, save the day and stuff like that. And I love the heart-to-heart with Molina and Maguire, where, he's knocked out Doc Ock and he can't stop the experiment, and he runs over to him and he unmasks. And he says, Dr. Octavius, right? You hear a voice crack in it, like it's the child. Like, hey, Doc, like, what's up, man? It's me. And he's like, Peter Parker, brilliant but lazy, figures it out. He goes, that's why you're so lazy, right? And they have this great conversation where he says, listen, we have to stop it. And he goes, I can't, I won't. And he grabs him with the mechanical arm. And Toby says this great line to him that Aunt May had says to him previously in the film. And he says, sometimes we have to be steady. Sometimes we have to give up the things we want the most, even our dreams. And now Alfred starts to kind of shed a tear. He goes, it was my dream. I wanted to use science for the good of mankind. And now I'm not doing that anymore. Now I'm doing it for my own selfishness. Now I'm doing it to complete my own dream that, let's face it, died in the moment that the experiment goes haywire in the first place in the movie. And to see him kind of come to the realization of, I'll drown and I'll sacrifice myself, that's what I'm going to do. And he does it. And, Peter swings away with Mary Jane, and she knows he's Spider-Man now. And like, I remember as a kid just thinking that was such a beautiful poetic moment for the villain to kind of realize that Spider-Man was right? Like he wanted to do good. He wanted to be, this great scientist and be remembered and talked about forever. And instead what happened was it all blew up in his face. And like, I could see why you turned to evil. If you like, we are only human at the end of the day. And like, I could see why he did it. And like, that to me is a great, great villain, right? You just feel bad because there's so much gray area in the performance. It's not just this evil twirling mustache. Aha, I will take over the world, Spider-Man. It's not that type of villain. Instead, it was a human that we got to have dinner with beforehand. And I don't know. And a guy like Molina just works. I don't know. There's so much about this movie. Rosemary Harris's speech where she says, I believe there's a hero in all of us. Gives us strength, keeps us steady. Like Spider-Man 2 is perfect. This could easily be number one. I can't tell you how many times I've seen this movie too. Holy shit. I always loved the lady playing the violin. A Spider-Man that does whatever a spider can. Spins a web. Dude, like, that always cracks me up. I love it. Spider-Man 2 is fucking great, man. Like, great, great movie. Let's see what you'll have to say, though. Not as much for this one. Okay. Giant Spider ended up in Wild Wild West. That's right. It did. Miss Tess Mocker. Alfred Molina was perfect casting. Yes, he was. He was the only Doc Ock he could have done. And to me, I've always said this, and the reason he worked better than Dafoe for me as a villain in their respective movie. Dafoe dials it up to 11. Molina dialed it back to 5. Like, that's because you're never going to out Dafoe. Like, he will dial it up higher than you. Like, that's the type of talent he is. Molina knew, I'm not going to be able to do that. I have to play this more stoic and more sensible and with intelligence. And that's more so how he attacks the Otto Octavius character. And I think that he did a great job in this. Like, I think he's fantastic. Like, I could have seen him getting a Best Supporting Actor nomination. Like, that's how good he is as Doc Ock. Like, I love it. And I remember when they announced he was coming back, I was like, that kind of ruins his arc. Like, I wish why? Like, I guess money talks. Something from Hometown, Superman. Gene Hackman, I think, says that the original Superman, when he shows the Kryptonite. Oh, man, I love Gene Hackman. May he rest in peace, too. Who could forget Brando as Jor-El? No one could. Oh, my God, really? Brando as Jor-El? I mean, I don't know. 2 is the best because it has the best villains. You're talking about Superman 2, I think. Yeah, I agree. I don't know if you would call this a movie, but I picked the pilot episode of the TV series The Flash. I love it. Yeah, no, some of yours tonight have been kind of, I feel like you're stretching a little bit to call them superhero movies, but like, no, hey, if they're your favorite and you consider them, that's all that matters. Doc had a beautiful wife. Oh, there you go, Pat. There you go. Another amazing Spider-Man movie. Love it. Yeah, I love it. It's perfect. It's this really, it could be number 1. Your voice only be second to my own. You will bow down to okay, Jora. I think Roger Ebert thought Spider-Man 2 was the best superhero film he saw at the time. You can't really argue it with him. It's a perfect movie. In the movie Raiders of the Lost Ark, in the opening at the temple scene, Alfred Molina. Yes, that's right. That's right. This movie has too much James Franco for my taste. Good movie despite him. Fair enough. Fair enough. A friend of yours, a competitor. He was good. I'm referring to The Flash, now quoting Raiders of the Lost Ark. Okay. He wants to be the antithesis of Bob Parr. Exactly. And I think it's a good story to tell. And Spidey can stop the train too. Great sequence. Agreed, train sequence, the best part. It's great. It's like, that's why we love him. And then I love that New York unites with him. Like, we won't tell anybody. His mask falls off and they're like, we won't tell anybody. Like, don't sweat it. I love how that's done. I think that's beautiful. But it's all led up to this. We're about 2.5 hours to get to this point of number 1, which is the lowest rated movie on IMDb of all the movies we've talked about here tonight. Isn't that crazy? My number 1 movie has the lowest IMDb score of any of the movies we're talking about here tonight. And I pulled out specifically the DVD for this because this was how I watched it as a kid. And it is forever, I guess pun intended, it is forever my favorite superhero movie. And it's mainly for nostalgia, but I do love the movie too. I don't care what people say. They think it's bad. They think it sucks. That's fine. Coming in at number 1 from the year 1995, Val Kilmer, the late Val Kilmer, may he rest in peace, stars as Batman in Batman Forever. Yes, Batman Forever. Brief plot synopsis. Batman must battle former District Attorney Harvey Dent, who is now Two-Face, and Edward Nygma the Riddler, with help from an amorous psychologist and a young circus acrobat who becomes his sidekick known as Robin. Yes, Batman Forever. I know. I'm sure people like, how in that list that you just did could this be number 1? Why would this be number 1? The easiest answer would be it's nostalgia. I saw this at the right age, the right time. This was the Batman movie I grew up watching. This was the disc I watched it on the most. This disc is so you could see the scratches. Like this, I truly think I watched this disc to death. Like, this is absolutely so freaking crazy how much, how many times I watch this. And I own the movie on VHS, I own it on Blu-ray, and I own it on 4K. Like, every time Batman Forever comes out, I double dip and I buy Batman Forever because it's a fucking great movie. It's tremendous. It really is great. And like, again, I know people, it's the cool thing now to hate these movies and to hate the Joel Schumacher Batman movies and to say that, his Gotham was too neon, his Gotham was too bright, and they kind of throw stones and stuff like that. I have always been under the opinion that Batman and Robin is the reason that Batman Forever is so hated. Like, I think that movie, the stigma and the hate for that ultimately grew and went backwards to this movie, because I know a lot of people that they can't tell them apart. They go, oh, which one's with Uma Thurman, which one's with Nicole Kidman? And they'll kind of mix and confuse and run the two together. And that's a big, big problem where it comes with this particular movie. I think a lot of people see Batman and Robin in it. And I don't think that's fair, because when this movie needs to be serious, it is oh so serious, unlike Batman and Robin, which is just basically a very goofy cartoon version of Batman, where I know they had moved on from Tim Burton. Tim Burton wanted to do his own version that was darker. They didn't want to do it anymore because they felt Batman Returns was too dark, and instead they called in a Joel Schumacher who, May he rest in peace. I love Joel Schumacher. I love Falling Down. I love The Lost Boys. I love, St. Elmo's Fire. Like, I love Joel Schumacher. Joel Schumacher's fucking great. And to me, he made the best superhero movie ever fucking made. And a lot of the biggest reason for that, too, was the first and only time appearance is Val Kilmer as Batman. I love Val Kilmer in this role. I think he is great as Bruce Wayne and Batman alike. I think he's just the perfect, like, Bale is the best Wayne. I would say that maybe Michael Keaton is the best in the suit, but the best overall would easily be Val Kilmer for me. The best at both, I think, was Val. And his character in this is struggling through having these horrible nightmares about the death of his parents, and he's having these terrible night terrors, and he wants to go see a psychiatrist who's played by the voluptuous Nicole Kidman. Nicole Kidman is in this movie looking hotter than fire itself. Probably the best she ever looked, if I'm being perfectly honest. She plays Dr. Chase Meridian in this movie, and he's like very smitten and enjoying her. And we follow them as they go on a date and stuff like that. And it's at a circus, and Harvey Dent, Two-Face, played by Tommy Lee Jones, he takes over and kind of sets this bomb. And it's the Flying Graysons, this family of acrobats that try to save the day. And they get this bomb out, but ultimately Two-Face kind of shoots out their wires, and they all fall their death except the youngest, Dick Grayson, who's played by Chris O'Donnell, and he goes on to, of course, be Robin's origin story. That's heartbreaking how they do that. Like all of those sequences of how Two-Face murders the parents of Robin in that circus. And he says, I'll let them go if you reveal who you are right now. Batman reveals who he is right now. And Val gets up and goes, I'm Batman. I'm Batman. He's trying to get him to stop, willing to literally give up his cover, his identity, everything in order to not let these people die. And no one hears him because there's such a moral panic. And then again, he shoots down the Graysons, and they fall their death. Like, that's heartbreaking to me, that whole sequence. And then Chris O'Donnell, he saves the day. He looks back down, only to see his family is now dead. Like, they've died before him. And he can't believe it. And then I think what's great about this is the undertaking that Bruce takes to Dick Grayson, right? He comes in and he sees a lot of himself in the boy, right? He says, listen, I know what you're feeling right now. I know what you're going through. And he says, well, did some psycho madman ever kill your parents? And he's like, yes, they did. Like, they did kill my parents. I understand what you're going through. And he says, I know that you want sweet revenge, and you feel that, you have to kill Two-Face, and that this feeling inside you, this beast inside you, will not go away until you do it. But trust me when I tell you that if you do it, if you exact that revenge, it's only going to grow. It's only going to get worse. You're only going to want to kill and kill and kill and more and more and more, and only to get to the point where you're at, where I'm at, right? Because he has killed the killer of his parents, and he's still miserable and having these night terrors and can't move away from it. I love that. I love the character work there. It's great stuff, right? I see a lot in you, kid. Old man, look at my life. I'm a lot like you. There is comparisons there. But on the other hand, as the villain, and again, all due respect in the world of Tommy Lee Jones, Jim Carrey as the Riddler in this is fucking must see. It's amazing. It's one of the best performances of his career. I stand by that. I know people will not agree with that. They don't like that. The biggest knock Jim Carrey gets in this movie, oh, he played the Joker. That's what everybody says. That's the cliched knock of the performance. My fucking retort to you is, you clearly have never seen Frank Gorshin as the Riddler. You clearly never fucking watched the Batman animated. Like, he is the perfect Riddler. Like, literally couldn't be more perfect. Edward E. Nigma, this guy, this creepy weird guy that lives in this weird apartment and works in Wayne Enterprises and wants to manipulate brainwaves and put this blender on your head to suck out your brainwaves, which is silly on paper. But again, I love Jim Carrey's performance in it, right? Where Bruce Wayne, we are two of a kind. He's so over the top and fun in the movie. And I think the over the topness is why people point at him being the Joker as opposed to being the Riddler. But trust me, again, watch fucking Frank Gorshin. Please watch Frank Gorshin, and then you tell me who he was playing. Come on. It's the worst argument in the history of fucking comics, because it shows that you don't know what you're fucking talking about. But I digress. Jim Carrey is so fun in this, and the tag team camaraderie between him and Harvey Dent, right? Like, let's see if you bleed green. He's holding the gun to his head. Harvey, he's trying to convince him that, hey, listen, if we can kind of get people to buy this concept, we could start ripping off their brainwaves and their ideas, and we could steal their credit cards, bank codes, sexual fantasies, and the little white lies. Just like so fun. I love the plot in this for the Riddler to steal everyone's brainwaves and make himself the most smart and intelligent person in the world. And this is your brain on the box. This is my brain on the box. Does anybody else feel like a fried egg? Like just Jim Carrey fucking greatness. The humor is great. Like there's the funny scene where they shoot out the bat symbol. And the bat symbol's in the middle of the sky, and the commissioner, they're all waiting for Batman, and the Riddler just trolls them and puts the question mark sign over just uses it as the quotation. Like, I thought that was the ultimate troll. Like, that's something a villain would do, man. Like, so, oh my God, deliciously evil. I love that. And then the whole finale, right, where he doesn't want a partner, he doesn't want Robin, and then, finally begrudgingly gives into him, and 2 against 2 are better odds. And and they kind of go to try to save the day, and the whole they're on the water and they're playing Battleship. Oh, you sunk my battleship. They're trying to blow up the ships and shit like that. And holy rusted metal, Batman. Like, it's a great homage and tribute to the Adam West show. And I think that what happened with the Burton films is a lot of people grew up on the Burton films, and they wanted that dark atmosphere. They wanted that dark mystique. They wanted what Tim Burton was selling. And like, I think once you change that tone to something a lot more neon bright, I think people immediately rejected it and were like, wait a minute, that's bullshit. I want this dark, challenging stuff. And like, that's fine if you do, and that's fine if you feel that way. And a lot of people say, oh, you're crazy for liking this movie so much. But again, I do think it's really well done when it gets serious and they get to the Riddler's lair and he's given the choice, right? Bruce's love or the Dark Knight's junior partner. Who will it be? I'm sorry, your answer must be in the form of a question. And I have a riddle for you. Really? Tell me. And then I am blind without seeing. What am I? Please, you're as blind as a bat. And he throws the thing, destroys everything, and Batman saves both of them, and they win the day. And then Batman and Robin are finally united as one and will continue to fight crime. I know, and I've showed this to so many people over the years. Like, people say, oh, what's your favorite superhero movie? I grabbed this, and they look at me like I am crazy. Like, especially for kids my age, most people my age just like the Nolan movies. They do not watch the Keaton movies. They don't watch this or nothing before. Like, they're strictly the Nolan Bale trilogy. Like, that's what they'll watch. So then when you show something like this to them, they're like, what in the fuck? Like, they're like, how did this get approved? How did this get past like a producer's room, And it's a good question. It is quite a silly movie, but like, I don't know. There's something about the heart, the friendship, the soul of this movie. Like, there's just something about Batman Forever it's forever been my favorite. I love it. It's big nostalgic vibes, maybe. I don't know, but I love Batman Forever. My favorite, my personal favorite. I'm ready to be obliterated in the comments. I haven't looked. I really haven't looked. Let's see what we're going to say about here. Where are we? Drum roll, please. Drum roll for number 1, Grande. Baby, I compare you to a kiss from, oh my God, the fucking Seal song. Then from a kiss to Rose. The fucking, oh, Jesus. I love, I can't think of the name of this. It'll maybe come to me later, but I love the soundtrack of Batman Forever. It's very fucking 90s. Like, it's holy shit. I love this movie. What? What? Yeah, I can see that reaction for sure. Just so you know, I have never listened to someone talking about superheroes for this long in my entire life. I think that's a compliment, so thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Hell yeah, Batman Forever is shit. Yes! Talk about validation. So I share a favorite movie of all time with this guy, and he likes Batman Forever, so I feel valid. I thought I was going to get obliterated, and don't get me wrong, I still might. We're going to see. Chris O'Donnell is a great Robin. Tommy Lee Jones, not so much of a great Two-Face. Tommy Lee Jones is not good in the movie. I agree with that. And I know there's the whole controversy of he hated working with Jim Carrey, and there's an infamous story where Tommy Lee Jones is out with his wife in a restaurant, and he's sitting there and he's stressed out, and Jim Carrey and his date walking to the same restaurant, and he goes, "Oh my God, here's Tommy Lee Jones. Tomorrow we're filming the big scene together." So he runs over to the table to Tommy Lee Jones and says, "Hey, Tommy, good to see you," and he says that Tommy Lee Jones was probably mid-sentence of "fuck this guy," and got up and like gave him a handshake and like whispered to his ear and said, "I cannot sanction your buffoonery." And that's what he said to Jim Carrey. And Jim Carrey said the rest of the shoot, it was really awkward because like he was like, "I know this guy fucking hates me. I know this guy's jealous that I'm the star villain, whereas he's not." And like, the two of them totally clashed heads and stuff, unfortunately. But my dream commentary, with all that being said, my dream film commentary would be Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones sitting down in a room for 2 hours watching Batman Forever. How, like, I would empty the life savings to get that fucking commentary. Like, I would love to be like, he'd be like, this day, Jim, you're a fucking asshole. Like, I would love to see that, man. I saw this movie in the theaters. Oh, really? They showed it. They showed it like 2 years ago, and I had tickets, and my fucking car broke down. I couldn't go. That was what happened. I missed it seeing the theaters because of car trouble. So it happens. But yeah, that was a sad day. I'm not subscribing to you now, Grande. Buddy, you ain't subscribed to me already. If you ain't subscribed to me already, subscribe to my dumb ass. I need to get to 2,000 eventually. My subscribers is slower than molasses. Like, there are rocks that move faster than my fucking subscriber count. Nicole Kidman is definitely the hottest Batman love interest of all Cape Crusader movies. Oh, dude, without a fucking doubt. Like, I would have busted out the bat nipples for her, too. I mean, holy shit. Speaking of my Batman, my number one is Batman Returns. That's a suit. Okay, I think that this movie is mostly centered on its villains. Penguin is a very tragic character. Yeah, and, like, the thing with Batman Forever and Batman Returns, which is, you're right, is Batman's the third wheel. Like, it's more about Oswald Cobblepot and it's more about Selena Kyle than it is about Bruce Wayne or Superman or Batman. It's just way more about those two. And Batman is basically just sort of there just to clean house at the end. Like, it's really, he's like a third wheel in his own movie. It's a weird film, but Burton did that. That movie's better. I always liked Returns better than 89. I think is overrated. I don't like Batman 89 that much. Like, I know that's sacrilegious to say. I know a lot of people grew up with that movie, but like, I just never felt the same way. Like, I don't like the scene where the Joker is in the fucking thing with the Prince song. That was stupid. Like, Jack Nicholson's great, and so is Keaton, but I don't know if the movie around them is great. I can't explain myself. I don't know. I like Batman. I like Joel Schumacher better. George Clooney was awesome as Bruce Wayne. Was he? George Clooney was terrible in that movie. I can't lie. Grande, I saw the Tim Burton Batman at Grauman's Chinese Theater in Hollywood, 1989. That's really cool. I love the movie The Shadow from 1994. Okay. I've liked Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and The Batman of what I've seen so far. I mean, I hate Batman Begins. Love The Dark Knight. The Batman is good. But again, no rewatchability. I saw it. I liked it. I never had the urge to rewatch it. 3-hour time length doesn't really help it. My personal top 3 superhero movies are Iron Man, Batman 89, and number 1, The Watchmen. Great picks all around. The Watchmen is a really good one. Iron Man 1 as well. Batman 89, again, that's just a generational thing. Like, this was the Batman I grew up with. Whereas I think most kids most people around your age would tell you Batman 89, I think. My top 3 are Logan, Into the Spider-Verse, and Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, guys, share your top 3 superhero movies because we're going to wrap up after this. Grande, I'm having you banned from YouTube for choosing Batman Forever. Buddy, you ban me all you want. In the animated series, there was an episode called Robin's Reckoning, which also does the backstory of Robin, Biff Tannen himself. Oh, really? Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Wasn't there a lot of tension on the set? Yeah, so Schumacher hated Val Kilmer. Schumacher hated working with Val Kilmer. It was like, I'll never work that piece of shit again. And, listen, Val was a imperfect human. Val, I've heard stories about Val where it's like, holy shit. But there's, again, I think a great talent there. And I think he was a really good actor. And I did a Val Kilmer tribute show when he passed. That was a tough one for me. Like, I'm a big fan of Val Kilmer's movies. Unfortunately, I don't think I would have been too big of a fan of the guy, like as a person. But yeah, the story goes Kilmer hated working with Schumacher, but Schumacher loved Jim Carrey. Like him and Schumacher became like best friends. And that's why Schumacher and Jim Carrey would work together again down the road in a terrible piece of shit called The Number 23. Yeah, you want to talk about a really bad horror movie? Don't look any further than Jim Carrey and Joel Schumacher's The Number 23. I know Tommy Lee Jones hated working with Jim Carrey. Yes, that's right. Grande, I think Paul Dano is better as the Riddler, perhaps, but no. See, I'm okay. This is gonna be really. I may get canceled right now, like Quentin Tarantino. I don't know. But before Quentin Tarantino said all this shit about Paul Dano, I have never been a fan of Paul Dano as an actor either. I don't know if he's the weakest actor in SAG, like Tarantino said, but in my opinion, not a great actor. And I think he sucked in that role where he's like going crazy. He's like, no. That is horrible acting. Like I do not see it with Paul Dano. I don't. I'm happy that apparently the internet thinks that you're not entitled to your opinions anymore. And if you say anything bad about Paul Dano, you'll get canceled and all these horrible memes will be sent about you. So I hope that doesn't happen to me. Thankfully, I'm not as a wide household name as Quentin Tarantino, so I don't think it's going to happen. But I don't really think that much of Paul Dano. I think he sort of stinks. While not one of my favorite superhero movies, Batman Forever is still a good movie. Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey were great on screen, even if they didn't. It's funny, yeah. For two guys that apparently didn't like each other, their on-screen chemistry is undeniable. The Two-Face, show me how to punch a guy. Oh, my boy, it's real easy. You just assert yourself. You lean back and you punch. And he's like, okay, I'm going to lean back, assert myself, punches. He goes, ow! He punches. The guy doesn't even move. Like that was always running. Grande forever had these garage, gaudy, awful color palettes in the film. I couldn't like. Bro, what? Oh man, you hear that? That's my heart breaking. That's just my heart breaking. Great pick, Grande. Hell yeah. Batman Forever is one of my favorite Batman movies. It's a misunderstood masterpiece. Magnum fucking Mac. If that's not the comment of the night, you know what? Let's we star the comment. We started, motherfuckers. That is comment of the night. This movie really did feel like a comic book. Yeah, and that's why I love it. Like it like people got upset because it wasn't like the dark, Burton films. But my rebuttal is it's like those were the first ones to really be dark. Like Adam West Batman was not dark. It wasn't. Like it was like a lot of it was silly, and this is what more so in that vein. So I think people just when you change tones, people can go fucking crazy. And hey, I'm one of them. I'm a prime example of people who go crazy about tone changes. The stuff was awful. Oh man, you're brutal on here, man. I can't even. About to go to bed, but just found out Puppy on Me coming back for the new Starfire show. What? That is a great freaking news bulletin to break on the superhero top 10 special here. Holy shit. I'm so fucking excited right now. Puff the Omni for life. I actually rank Batman and Robin above The Dark Knight. Okay, that's a little crazy. I was kidding. You're entitled to your opinion. I think that's crazy because The Dark Knight's great. However, I'll do you one better. I think Batman and Robin is better than Batman Begins. I cannot watch Batman Begins ever. Like I hate it. It is such a fucking pretentious piece of shit movie. I'm about to rant. I'm sorry. You did it. You brought this on yourself. Batman Begins fucking sucks. You want to know why? Let's take the Spider-Man 2 train sequence and do it shittier, right? Oh, Ra's al Ghul and Batman fighting on an empty train. Oh my God. I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you. And he jumps. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Let's have Scarecrow in all three movies and not do a goddamn thing with him. Fuck Batman Begins. Batman and Robin's better. I said it. I don't give a shit. Also, best superhero movie is Superman versus the Elite, the Batman and Guardians. Okay, well, we've talked about all of those people here tonight. Not Superman versus the Elite, but we did do a Superman movie. Batman and Robin's a lot of fun. It's a fucking dumb time waster. I can watch it too. I'm telling you, I would watch it over Dark Knight Rises, The Batman, and Batman Begins. I'm not saying it's better than those movies, other than Batman Begins, but it's more rewatchable than those movies. Clooney was the last Bruce to appear in film. Okay, shut the fuck up. 23 is great. 23 is great. What the fuck are you talking about, 23? Oh, the number 23, buddy. The number 23 is not a great. Are you crazy? Mark, what are you talking about? Mark, so to preface this for people, Mark has a poster of the cinematic disaster called Cats. He has the one sheet poster of Cats in his room. So just go to show you about listening to Mark here. The Batman went way too fucking long. It did. It's over long. It's very self-indulgent. 2002 Spider-Man special, Batman 2022, my top 3. Great picks, man. I like Paul Dano, There Will Be Blood, and in Little Miss Sunshine. He was amazing as a riddled. It's okay to be completely wrong. All right, buddy, why don't you go watch The Number 23 and tell me how that goes. Second, you Kubrick on There Will Be Blood. Okay. Into the Spider-Verse is my number 1 superhero movie. Awesome pick, Missy. Awesome pick. Let's get through more of these. I liked the Batman with its time length. I like a lot of long films. Okay. Watch Batman Begins as many times as The Dark Knight. I love the train scene because I hate it. Clooney appears at the end of the new Flash as Bruce Wayne. Oh, does he? Okay. I was confused with what you meant there, but guys, this has been a long show, almost 3 hours. I didn't expect to go that long, but we were the first 2 movies in. We were so fucking deep in this, so I don't know, but this was a lot of fun talking all things superhero movies here tonight. I mean, I really enjoy interacting with you guys always, and this was kind of a fun way to end off June because next week we will start the wonderful month of July, and we are doing something that very few brave people have ever tried to do before. We're going to count down the top 10 worst Twilight Zone episodes. I figure America's turning 250 on the 4th of July. There's always the famous Twilight Zone 4th of July marathon. And you know what? Instead of being positive like we were here tonight talking about 10 superhero movies that I love, we're going to talk about 10 Twilight Zone movies that I do consider to be the very worst of the all-time greatest show ever made. So I'm very excited for that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited to, have that show and all that. This was fun, Grande. Grande, the graveyard is saved by our hero. Yes. And I need like a Powerpuff Girls outro. And thus the day is saved by the Powerpuff Girls. Holy on the graveyard. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. If you're catching the replay, comment down below. Let me know your top 10 superhero movies, top 3, top 5, whatever doesn't make you feel pressured, obviously. Like that. So everybody, next week we'll kick off horror in July. I've got a very fun month planned. Top 10 worst Twilight Zones, a neo horror special, a J horror special, a vampire special, and all that good shit that we know and love is going to be next week on Grande's Graveyard starting in July. You're going to have to eat some raspberries with that Twilight Zone show, Grande. Let's do it. I'll eat some raspberries. I found a tape of my dad recording the Sci-Fi Channel Marathon Circa 2003. Oh, that's awesome. You should watch that instead. That would be really cool. But everybody, thank you so much for being awesome as always. I love my great audience. 2 sweet peace, and we will catch you next time only on the graveyard. 2 sweet peace. Good night, everybody. Cheers.